absolutely had to lose 25 pounds.
You look sadder than a fat woman in a G-string.
Let me tell you, those of you who are starting dieting or dieting a little bit, this is what 67 pounds of fat looks like. I can't lift it.
This is my husband, Ted. He stopped drinking soda and lost 12 pounds. I stopped drinking soda and I lost 1. He started eating subs and lost 19 pounds. And
Your thyroid's within normal limits.
What's the diagnosis?
You're fat.
And he asked me, what are you eating? A pouch of those apple purees a day, and said, maybe that's a blessing.
Yes, I'm on row. They say GLP-1s for weight loss is a shortcut. It's not. It's science.
It's two fat bad bitches over here, yeah. It's two fat bad bitches. And this is Under the Weight of It All. All right, welcome to Under the Weight of It All. This is where we break down the spectrum of the fat experience, confront the stigma society has put on us, and flip that shame right back with a little bit of honesty, laughter, and some of that damn chaos. I love a little chaos. A little chaos. A tornado, bitch. I am... Wait, Katrina. Bitch. Yes, I am Carrington O'Moore. How y'all doing today?
And I am Felisha Alexis. Most people are afraid to go to the doctor because they're afraid to get bad news. Fat people are afraid to go to the doctor because we know what they are already going to say. This is Under the Weight of It All, and we are going under the weight of medical bias today.
Y'all ready? Literally, can we have that? Can we have it come off our fingers?
Should we put it in like metal font and then it's
yes. Yeah. Hold on.
This is hazardous material.
This is very hazardous and heavy motherfucking material, bitch.
Yeah.
Be ready, ho.
That's what we should say for our trauma alerts. We should say this is heavy material.
Oh, yes.
So denim.
Okay.
Genius.
Write that down, producer.
We're geniuses.
You want something today? Come on.
I want something every day, okay?
All right. Welcome. We hope y'all doing good this week. Hope you liked the little break you had in between. Nice to see y'all. About to get thick and unfiltered. Y'all know we about to warm y'all up before we get into the guts of this here episode today. So, shit, we know what we came to talk about. We had an event last night.
Yes.
How you feeling after that?
Bitch, I'm tired as fuck. Which means I had a good ass time, if I'll be honest. I had a ball.
Yeah. It was
shout out Pray for Pray.
Yeah, shout out to the family. Family ties.
I
bought this shirt last night. Great material.
Shop Pray for Pray.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead and get you some.
And they got shipping too. You ain't even got to be in, because some of our listeners are not in Cleveland, so.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about like what the event was for?
Yeah. So Pray for Pray, they dropped their first zine. Really dope. So they have been around. There's an interview on Patreon that you guys can go watch if you want to hear like more about their brand and kind of like how they got their start. But they have been a brand that's been established for a little closer to 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. So they wanted to compile some of their prior works and some of their more recents as well, and actually put out a zine, and it was dope. They asked us to be a part of it, which was just like really special.
We have the first issue here.
It's like, first off, dope as fuck. They're
dope as hell.
I love, the style of their photography is like so dope to me.
And then we got to be featured.
Yes.
In there, y'all. There you girls.
So fire.
So yes, Two Fat Girls One Podcast.
That's what.
You know the vibes. So yes, please go purchase. Go look at this. I'm so excited for issues to come.
And this is really dope. There was like some poetry in here. There's some like local artists that are also involved from Cleveland in here. Like, it's really cool that they're using this space to not only support themselves, but like really give a platform to like other creatives, especially like us, other people as well in the city. So
I think
check them out for sure.
Last night, all like the conversations that I had, most of the conversations that I had were all talking about Cleveland and just uplifting each other and all of us getting our creative bags and doing this together. And it was an honor, like, to be not only involved in the first issue of something so great, but like to be interactive, you know, to go interview them. Like Karrington said, there is Patreon, we vlog, so you get some behind the scenes of us just being out in the world, what it's like to come kick it with your girls. Like, it was a good time. So please go watch that. Patreon.com/UTWIOA pod. Yeah. So it was good vibes. Go shop with them.
They're
Mara,
really dope people.
Mara, our baby Mars. She is First Lady of Pray for the Prey. And,
seriously,
you know, I think that she has just taken their already amazing brand and has like turned that bitch up. And we cannot wait for the community that she's building herself in the city. And yeah, we had a good time. This is our second event, like going and interacting with them. So it's family ties now, I feel like. So if we thinking about doing merch, and this is, like I said, this is a good quality shirt. As a plus size girl, it's hard to find good quality, and we also talked about that in the Patreon in the interview. So
and it was so dope to get their perspective. We really do appreciate, you know, obviously Mara, but definitely like Junior and Tim for talking about their perspective when it comes to the realities of purchasing plus size clothing. And like, you know, especially as a smaller brand, and like, it's expensive as fuck, it's hard as fuck, there goes a lot into doing
to
that.
create a size chart, and it wasn't even just plus size, like, but for women, period.
Because on both sides of that spectrum, I know we had Franny on talking about the smaller size. It's the same shit. So, and it's dope to like hear that from another grassroots. Like, we understand
how hard it
is
is
to do some shit by yourself, and like having a vision. You can have the most amazing vision, but making it a practical thing takes a lot of work, and it's hard, and it's an investment, quite frankly. And
we all getting it out the mud over here.
Yes. So
you know
honestly,
what I mean?
You know, you want these brands to be more inclusive to sizing. You have to
support
these people.
Them. Yes. Absolutely.
Go buy some clothing from them. Subscribe to our Patreon so you can see what the fuck they was talking about.
They was dropping some gems, some jewels.
And they're just fly as fuck.
Yeah. All good people, all good vibes.
And please, going back to Mara too, like, they not only does Mara really support Pray for Prey, but they also have their community as well, which is their like just community based organization that's just trying to uplift Cleveland. So hearing her talk about like the events that she has going on, the reasons why she wanted to form this, and
all for good reasons too. We trying to help the kids. It's just like we're very much in alignment with Mars and everything that she got going on over there. And I'm feeling very grateful and very hopeful. You know, we got Juneteenth. I mean, I know it's like April. And June is not that far away. June is not that far away. We just got the month of May will go fast, like, because we about to really get into spring, and you know, we from Cleveland. The spring and the summer go quick around.
It's over, bitch. So make sure if y'all want to come see us out, pop out. And honestly, the Patreon was lit. We had some moments last night. Please go watch that. And like we said, it's gonna be a really good representation of what the summer's about to look like.
Absolutely.
So, y'all want to see?
That's why we going bi-weekly. And that is a very good representation of what you can expect from us. And we just try to be out here in y'all faces, not just listening and watching us through a screen.
Like, come pull up.
Come pull up.
But make sure y'all mark them calendars off for Juneteenth, because we want to see y'all outside. And this is going to be such a fire event.
We'll update y'all when we get more information, when we get tickets, anything like that. So, come down, kick it with your girls. Also, we have like stuff for Pride. You know, Pride is in June as well. So we have some very special things going on, especially for the Cleveland Pride people. Maybe Ohio, maybe Columbus, maybe Cincinnati. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what's going on. But we definitely have some special things coming up for Pride and Juneteenth, and we just really cannot wait to get into it, to get into the thick of it. Good weekend. Good weekend. And next weekend we have...
we have... Well, I don't know if this will...
This had already passed,
but also...
I don't know if we're going to be, like, filming an episode.
Well, we'll have an interview at least that will come out. I'm assuming we'll either drop that on our social media or as another clip on YouTube. But we, at this point, would have gone to...
Frequencies in Bloom.
Nia, thank you. So at this point, we'd have gone to see Chef Nia at Frequencies in Bloom, which was a tastings dinner at Cleveland Urban Winery, if I'm not mistaken. We're really excited to go to that. We have not gotten
So we'll
yet,
have
but we're
BTS for
very,
that too,
very
that
excited
you'll be
go
able to see.
that.
So by this time, our Patreon should have some content.
And she's a Pisces queen. She's such a cutie. She just celebrated her birthday. She's really cute. And I'm just excited to see like how she carries this space.
Same.
And her food looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I'm excited to smell it.
Yeah.
Me and Felisha was in the car talking about it earlier. Like, bitch, I'm finna smash on that motherfucking food. So.
Yeah, definitely been a time. So
yeah.
Yes.
Now, real quick. I ain't got no updates in my life. Felisha, what's going on? We want to know. I just.
I'm gonna give y'all a taste. Y'all a taste.
They want to know. I want to know.
It's getting nastier. We was in that bedroom getting nasty. It was getting nasty. It was getting a little freaky. And that's all I'm gonna say for now.
Just so that's that Patreon, bitch.
That's all I'm gonna say for now.
Yeah.
I might give y'all a little next episode. I don't know, but obviously today we talk about medical bias. So just before we watch our society scale and really get into the things, I want to know have you ever been afraid to go to the doctor or uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time. Yeah. So why?
Yeah.
Basically? Okay, so, I mean, there's a few reasons. I feel like for me, when I first started going to the doctor, I had absolutely no say in my care. So, for me, it always felt like there was always a distrust with me and doctors because I this is so horrible, but I do feel like my parents, my mom especially, would, use medical situations to kind of influence certain shit. Yeah, very much manipulate things. So I always had this weird distrust with going to medical professionals. And then on top of being a fat person, and also I think I told this story as well, the experimentation of Black people in the doctors, being suggested a gastric bypass in my teenage years. I just always kind of had this understanding that my weight was going to be the forefront of most conversations with health. So it always, I always was just damn, I'm going to go in, it's going to be the same shit. They're going to weigh me, all the things. The doctor's going to be really nice the first time, and they're immediately going to start talking about my weight, and it's going to, you know what I'm saying? So it just made me kind of not, it's fuck it. But I still do think that it's important to go to the doctor. Both of my parents have, dealt with very serious illnesses over their life. I understand that having a history, especially as Black people, because that is how the system is built for us not to have access to it, to perpetuate us not having access to being alive longer than others. So, yeah, I still think it's important to go, but it's stressful.
Yeah, and I think we need to improve the system so it's easier to go.
Yeah. And remove the bias that causes that pause. Because if I was met with some type of softness, and not maybe not softness, but if I was met as a human being in those situations and not as a visual representation of what someone may not like, I think that the way I also probably would have gone into a doctor's office a lot more open to talk about certain things and not be so hesitant myself. I think there's a responsibility on both sides of those relationships, but
absolutely, because we're not looking to be enabled, but like you said, approached as humans.
I'm also not looking to be chastised either,
absolutely,
or to be
shamed,
or I don't know, there's so many other places that we experience scrutiny, so to go to a place where you're trying to seek advice or help and to be faced with just blatant discrimination is that's hard to that. I'm not gonna put myself in that arena all the time. I'm not gonna seek that out. So but knowing that that's the experience that a lot of us have in terms of going to the doctors, it's just it makes it hard to want to be honest for one. It makes it hard to want to go for two, but also it makes it really easy to not take care of yourself and to fall victim to even worse things than what people may assume that you have because you're fat, just because you're not getting checked up at all.
Absolutely.
And it's really,
yeah, we have to change the bias. We have to change the conversation, and hopefully this episode does that. So.
Yeah. How do you feel before we keep going? What is your experience? Because I know you talked about you have a child as well, so I've never given birth. I know that there's a whole nother aspect of just medical care and the type of the conversations that you're having in terms of your own care, but also just in general, what are your experiences in the medical?
Well, I know that a few episodes now ago, I talked about the whole BMI situation with Izzy, and that was basically my experience growing up as a child as well, going and constantly having the conversation about weight being brought up with my mother, and similar to you, that being, the all in all, very similar. Very similar.
I can't wait to get into the.
I want to say that I am afraid to go to the doctor. I'm very honest when I go. I don't usually like hide things. That's kind of my problem. Like, you know, when I was supposed to get like gastric bypass, the reason why it took so long because I had to stop smoking weed because I was honest. My dad was like, "You gotta lie sometimes, Felisha." Nigga. Nigga, you taught me not to lie. What the hell is you talking about? Like, he was like, "You gotta pick and choose." Well, whatever.
He's funny as fuck for that.
Yeah, so I want to say that because I already know what they're gonna say, so it's like, and I guess maybe that is a privilege of not having anything like ever serious go on to feel like I wasn't being heard because of my weight, because it's always been, I don't know, pretty like general hospital shit, you know, like, so, but it does always come up, but I already know that, so I feel like I'm kind of like numb to it by now, like, so I just go mainly because my mental health.
I respect that though. Like, seriously, I respect that you're just like, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna get what I need out of this. Yeah. Yeah, and I respect that. I think that's kind of the mentality that you have to push through those.
I also, like, there's a way that I choose my care, and
which we'll get
that is, like, I have, like, a system of 3 things. Woman, 30 or younger, or 40 or younger, like, I get that. You know, or black. And you have to have 2 of those things in order for me to get care from you.
That's fair.
So you can be a young black man. Yeah. You could be a young white woman. Yeah. But like, you know, you gotta have 2 of those 3 things in order for me to get care from you. And that's just what I've kind of like how I move when I make these decisions, whether that be therapy, nutritionist, doctor, like you know, whatever. Yeah. Some things you can't control, like when there's specialists, but if it's in my, you know, if it's my primary care doctor, if I'm going to find somebody and seek care, then yeah, it would be one of those things. Yeah.
All right, y'all. So, y'all know this is Society Scale, our reactionary portion of the episode where we're going to look at a viral video, something that's, you know, referencing the medical bias that we were talking about beforehand. So the clip that we have today was an individual that was kind of, I think, like role-playing in terms of, like, some biased situations that happen in the medical industry, but also talking about like the realities of the capitalistic aspect behind the medical industry in terms of how some of the things that we know in terms of BMI, access of health is based off of them trying to sell medications or like, you know, something in order for us to consume.
Because whose fault is it if it's not a white man's fault?
It's capitalism. Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yes. So shout out to, I think his name is, sorry.
I see a lot of videos of him too.
I don't really. That's crazy.
I do. I've within like the last couple weeks, I would say that he's been, you know, when
manifestation
popping up on my TL.
I'm gonna follow him. Okay, so his name is William Hornby. Specifically, this video is titled "The GLP-1 Ad Epidemic," which I love. I know we talked about scurvy last episode, but for real, this shit get out of hand. I think everything I watch right now has a conversation about GLP-1s. It's actually like, I feel like it's closing in on me.
It's the skinny people taking GLP-1s for me. It will always be.
But you already... Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We're not here to talk about them. They get talked about
obesity.
Okay.
The epidemic that weight loss drug companies made up to make money off of you? Nice try, but you're not going to convince me that the obesity epidemic was made up by Big Pharma. It's true whether I convince you or not. If you don't believe me, you're just wrong. Okay then, what's your evidence? Millions of Americans became fat Wednesday, even if they didn't gain a pound. That's how a 1998 CNN article called "Who's Fat? New Definition Adopted" opens. Wait, how did they become fat if they didn't gain a pound? They were writing about how the NIH had just lowered the thresholds for their BMI categories, obese and overweight. So some people had a normal BMI and then they were overweight the next day, and millions more who were overweight were then classified as obese, which, to be clear, is a term that is considered a slur by the fat community. But why would they do that? Well, they claimed they were just adjusting their guidelines to match the WHO's new guidelines from 1995, which is technically true. But when the WHO adopted these guidelines, it was actually against the advice of their own medical researchers. Then why did they do it? Well, the WHO actually went off of the advice of their International Obesity Task Force, which 2/3 of the funding for came from the companies Abbott and Roche. Oh no, are those the weight loss drug companies? You guessed it, they're weight loss drug companies, and they both had medications that they were hoping to bring to market soon, but struggling to find medical justification to get them approved. So they made up a whole epidemic just to make money? Yes, they made up a whole epidemic. Oh my god. And then because suddenly so many people were overweight and obese, we needed weight loss drugs to be approved so that they could come to the market and make everyone healthier. I feel crazy right now. I feel like my head is literally spinning. And they used these guidelines to market the drugs, which is something they still do through direct-to-consumer marketing. Something that is illegal in almost every country except for the United States. And if you want to learn more about that, you know where to look to read more.
Fire-ass video.
Yeah.
Shout out to our producer, Ali, for finding that.
Fire. Yeah, because I low-key, like, what else can you say to that?
Perfect video for that. Like,
what else
oh my
can
gosh.
you say to that?
Yeah.
It's like...
He said what the fuck he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you look at how it's being sold. Like, again, if GLP-1s were healthy, the way in which it's being sold to us would not be in this manner. You have major celebrities that have access to not just GLP-1s, but personal trainers, in-home gyms, any diet that they personally can afford. On top of taking GLP-1s, they have access to having more control, which we all have control over what we can say behind the doctor, which we will have, more of conversations with. But they have a free will to do whatever the fuck they want to do to lose weight, selling us a lifestyle. That's what they're selling us. They're not selling us a drug. They're selling a lifestyle. And it's not a healthy lifestyle. It's a take this drug and you will be rich and healthy. You'll be rich and cool and included just like me. That's not health. That doesn't make me want to take that. That actually makes me feel like it's poison. And considering, again, you bitches is getting scurvy, I think it is.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, like, I've worked in traditional media for like 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
And my very favorite thing to always ask myself when I'm in those situations is like, who is profiting from my feeling of lack or my feeling of shame? Or like, where
I think
is
that's
that?
a great question to ask yourself. I think everybody should implement that, actually.
It's a great question, especially like when we're looking at, like, for example, Serena Williams, someone who a lot of us have looked up to.
Where is Shunned and Fraud? So Shunned and Fraud is a book that was written by Tiffany Watt-Smith. It is, if you watch the 15 Seconds of Shame documentary on HBO, it talked about how the social media companies, how like brands use psychology essentially to get us to shame each other to buy more things. And this book talks about how we really live in kind of a medieval time in the terms of cancel culture and the ways that we use our social pull to really push what we're buying in our sales. And it is an interesting thing when you realize it touches all aspects of our lives, not just in like a clothing or like those obvious things. It's also in our medical care. It's also in the type of care that you seek out in the first place. Like, it also touches on access to care. I feel like as someone, like, some of us can't afford certain levels of care in the first place, but you'll aspire to have it, which is why you'll end up shopping on the black market like some people on Reddit are doing to get Ozempic powder. You know what I'm saying?
Ozempic powder?
Yes.
That sounds like cocaine.
Oh, this is so okay. So shout out to my client.
Your hoes is playing with your nose.
Listen, I'm pretty sure my client sent me the Reddit for this, by the way. So shout out to my client for Zelma. If you're watching this, I love you so much. So this Reddit feed is a bunch of women essentially or a bunch of people in general that are talking about Ozempic and trying to basically find different ways to gain access to getting Ozempic. And at one point, we're speaking about getting powders or vials off of like different websites, essentially. So in this feed, right, they're talking about the different levels, like the different measurements of semaglutides. They're talking about mixing their own formulas from things that they're getting off of line to create their own semaglutide. But
baking soda! I got baking soda!
But then you think about like, you're not doing that to be healthy. You're doing that to fit into a certain lifestyle. You're doing that to assimilate to a certain version of wealth or luxury or acceptance that you think is acceptable. Like, that's insane.
That is insane. I'm judging you. I don't like to judge people. That's not
Talking about where to find the right peptide company. Like,
that's scary.
It's insane. That's what, like, it's scary as fuck for once to think that it's
the worst thing that you could be is fat.
But then you wonder why bitches is getting scurvy. And I think you had mentioned it in the last episode where you were like, these bitches is buying this shit online. They doing this shit, taking their friend shit. But for real, like, as funny as that shit is dangerous as fuck.
It
like,
is
that's
very
terrifying
much so.
as fuck.
Very much so.
Like, but there's purposely doing things to sell us this idea that we need to do
different
shit like
GLP-1s,
that.
and there might be a reason why you cannot take one and have to take the other. And
You bitches
you're
are
not going
paralyzing
to
your GI to be skinny. Bitch,
and not
like,
healthier.
It's crazy.
Not
to
healthier.
Me. It's crazy.
That's
to
what
me.
we're talking. No, we're not talking
No.
about being healthier, because that is not.
No,
that is not. Why is the greatest athlete selling us? I'm sorry. And
something that I really don't believe she took, by the way. And that I might be speculating on that. Who knows?
Her
but
husband is on the board of Roe, I believe, is what she's selling.
Shut the fuck up.
Swear to God.
Shut the fuck up. I didn't know that.
I'll cite it somewhere on this motherfucking screen. I'll send it to LA. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. It's all marketing. It's all a ploy to sell us some shit. So seeing that video of that creator being able to compile like all of those things into such a short bit, it's just like, damn. But like there's so many different things that they do to society that they use to sell us things in that way.
Absolutely.
And to make us
that was back in 1995 that this started. That was that was just the beginning of the weight loss.
Like, you're hating me because of a marketing campaign that you chose to believe in.
Yeah.
Just like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's sad.
It is.
I really do feel for people that want to change themselves that bad that they're willing to go those lengths to do so. I feel I feel so, because I know that self-talk is, I know that when they look at themselves in the mirror, it is not a good like
you're not able to separate yourself. I feel bad for them too. I hope that they're delivered from that.
Yes.
If I'll be honest. And I hope that, quite frankly, all of us are delivered from having to be...
I hope that this kind of help. Like,
push this type of rhetoric in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I don't want my health to be based in capitalism or from someone profiting. I want my health to be based off of what
it
is
shouldn't.
actually nutritional.
But that's the
about.
same, like, with insurance. It's all all capitalism. It is so intertwined and ingrained in us. So hard to separate.
They monopolized... like... selling you medical and like selling you fucking weight loss drugs. They literally, the game of Monopoly, monopolized the market to be able to sell us drugs and fuck with your psychology in the process and don't give a fuck about you.
And they need to not go to go collect $200, go to jail. I don't fucking know, but all of that, go to jail.
Definitely need to
go to jail. Do not collect $200 and do not pass go, ho.
Period. All right, y'all. Welcome to wow. All right, y'all. This is Heavy Conversations. Now, this is where we're going to, dive a little deeper into our topic, really jump into, maybe our own experiences and some more in-depth conversations about medical biases. Yeah. So, all right, let's get started. So, I'll get us going here. So, first off, we want to talk about just like going to the doctor in general in a bigger body. And I know we spoke a little bit on this in our first segment, but I know we could touch on already like just how you feel being anxious in the doctor. But to go off of that, like how do you feel when doctors assume things about your lifestyle before being asked anything?
I think for me, it's particularly frustrating because I've always been in a bigger body and always, I won't say always, but a lot of the times I do try to manage a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the Feeding Generations episode. That lady basically like acted like I didn't know what a whole fruit was. I think that would piss anybody off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So condescending.
That's exactly what it is, and that's how it feels. And I just feel like it's a power. Like, it's almost like an abuse of power to be so condescending when, you do have the knowledge and the degree and the PhD and you've done the work, and I'm not discrediting that. But, again, I think I mentioned before that PhD, that medical degree, comes with a lot of medical bias.
Yeah.
As, we'll learn, it is ingrained in the system. It is something that is taught in school. Like, medical bias is taught in school. So
I think for me, it just makes me kind of shrink a little bit, if I'll be honest, in that environment. Like, if I'm talking about in the specific moment, it makes me get like really like disassociate when I'm in the doctor's office and just kind of want to like leave and almost be like, I already knew that was gonna go that way. Like, why'd I even try to like
I said, I just prepare myself for that.
Like, why'd I even do this? And it's frustrating because sometimes you have a genuine question and you can't even like focus on that because you're too busy trying to explain your existence, and it's really frustrating to jump through that hoop. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yep, that basically sums it up. Have you ever gone in for something unrelated to your weight and immediately weight was brought up?
I'm not going to say personally for myself, like, nothing that I can, like, specifically think of now, but that's because most of my conversations were always, like, even in my general PCP appointments, like, there was always a conversation about my weight.
Yeah.
So whether it was supposed to be, like, I've never gone in for, like, let's say the emergency room and they were like, but you're fat. That's not what I've experienced medically. If anything, I feel like I wasn't taken serious in the emergency room. Like, there was one time, actually, this was like 2 years ago, I like psilocybin a lot.
You what?
Psilocybin.
What's that?
Shrooms.
Okay.
I like shrooms a lot. And if y'all didn't know, shrooms and alcohol, if you don't know, please take this as a lesson. If you've never taken shrooms, do not drink when you're on psilocybin because it cancels out and you can drink a lot on accident and be really dehydrated and not even be drunk. But your body is, you know what I'm saying?
Got you feeling the effects of the alcohol, even though you aren't.
Yeah, so on some young girl shit, I was out. I had taken
young hoe.
On some young hoe. Young hoe. I took everything on high, bitch. And I don't separate my clothes when I wash them because I go to the laundromat.
I'm a millennial, so I'm mid-hoe.
I know everyone hates when I say that.
I'm a mid-hoe. I'm not old, and I'm also not young.
She's a medium hoe.
Yeah, I don't throw my shit in the dryer, and I don't.
I don't dry my clothes. I don't dry my clothes on some real shit. The shit I dry, like the shit I don't care about, but like my actual shit, no. Pajamas and the regular random shit, yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. No. But anyways, though, young ho, and I had taken shrooms, but it was 4th of July, so we were drinking and everything too.
Okay.
And literally the next day I had passed out at work. Like, I'm just dehydrated as fuck. So I used to, when I first started doing hair and nails, when I first started doing hair, I was doing nails too. Because honestly, for most starting hairstylists, like, that's a good way to find clients and like kind of like build your clientele.
Absolutely.
It's a way to finesse.
As an SD, they also...
You get that.
They want you to go to nail school too.
Do something.
Yep.
Nails is low-key a finesse. Like, for real. And so I was...
For them, it was... People will let you touch their nails before they let you touch their face.
And they really will. And honestly, you're sitting and talking to somebody for 45 minutes to an hour. It's a great conversation starter.
Yep.
If you know how to talk to people... so many of my clients have started off as my nail clients, for real. Especially at that time in my career. So I did a pedicure, right? I came into work, I did a pedicure. Mind you, this is the craziest part. Funny enough, this patient was a physician. Or sorry, this client of mine was a physician at the time, which is hilarious.
Client,
truly.
Patient is kind of like the same thing.
I know, basically, for real. But so I was doing a pedicure. You know, you're sitting over a hot ass bowl. It's like steaming your face for like 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how long it was. I can't remember. It was a few years ago. So day before, dish room, all things, went to work. That shit happened. I got up to go get water. My ears start to ring bad as fuck. Oh my gosh. And I pass out on like a concrete slab, basically at work. Bad as fuck. And I'm like, I get back up and I'm like, oh, like I'm fine, young ho. I'm fine. I'm like, you know.
But shit hit the floor.
First off, and what's funny enough is I didn't finish the client's pedicure. I got up in between the service to get water because I was like, damn, I feel crazy as fuck. Like, I need some water. I need to like take a second. Like, I have no problem stopping a service to make sure I live, bitch. And like, I'm not that. And this woman literally got up after I passed out and was like, oh, she probably had, is it synapse or whatever? It's like there's whatever medical term they use to say that I just passed out, basically. Okay. She said that I basically just passed out and was like, okay, well, like, is someone gonna finish my nails type shit? Did not give a fuck that I had passed out. But my coworkers were like, you really need to go to the doctor, like just make sure you're okay type shit. And I was like, didn't want to, did. Go to the emergency room. I'm sitting there for hours, right? Hours, because it's the emergency room, obviously. When I'm finally being seen, the doctor looks at me. He does an EKG on me, which is basically to see if I had a heart attack type shit. And then it's like, you're fine. And like, just leaves. Like, that's all he does. Like, there's no other, like, there was no conversation about me being dehydrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was nothing about like, is it neurological? Like, It was very much like, did she have a heart attack? She looks like she would have a heart attack. She didn't. Okay, well, you're good. And I'm not saying that like, I don't know the deductive processing that they go through to decide what care I needed. But I will say in that moment, from my perspective, it just felt like, if you didn't have a heart attack, we don't give a fuck.
You're not dying.
Yeah, so. Bitch. And which I wasn't, but also like, what if that was an indicator for something else?
What
God
if it
forbid.
was a tumor? What if...
God forbid. Like, I still passed out in the middle of my work day. And it also was the day after I had gone through all those things. I had drank water and eaten food and like had some type of like, you know, refreshing moment to myself to be able to like chill. So it's kind of like, you know, it just was a strange thing to deal with. Yeah. So
damn.
Yeah. I know. It was like, I think about that sometimes as like God, thank God nothing happened, but like, I don't know.
Thank God nothing happened.
Yeah, but it's like, what if type shit.
Yeah.
But to not be taken serious, even in like the most serious of moments, is just like, so it's scary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My situation when I wasn't going in for necessarily anything with weight. I actually went to a doctor that a family member recommended for my mental health. That's kind of where I fucked up in the first place, was going to a primary care physician for my mental health. But it was a very trusted family member that recommended this person. So, and you know, doctors can prescribe psychiatric meds. Your primary care doctor can do that. But that's probably, I think this was like almost at like the peak of my like very, like I had some years where my mental health was very bad. And I don't think that that was the right decision for me. And this was before I had gotten any sort of treatment, verbal or otherwise.
Yeah.
So I go to the doctor, we have this conversation because obviously, you know, when I made the appointment, I talked to them about why I wanted to come in. But it was almost like, okay, so before we finish up here, like, let's talk about your weight and how that might be affecting your happiness. And like,
really,
and how that could help with your depression. But it was my weight, not how movement might help with my depression or eating the right greens, you know, or making sure I have the right vitamins that might assist me in feeling better with my mood. It was how my weight was impacting my mental health. Like, my weight solely had an impact on the chemical imbalance that was going on in my brain. He prescribed me Zoloft, and
for being fat, bitch.
Well, because I went in there seeking, you know, medical to help with my mental health. He prescribed me Zoloft, but I had a very bad reaction to that Zoloft. And ended up like, I landed in a mental health hospital part-time. It wasn't a stay.
I mean,
maybe should have been, but I was able to talk myself out of there. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, I got shit to do. Your mental health, but by the way,
it just very much gives like the way you look at yourself in the mirror is the reason why you hate yourself. Like that's what that sounds like.
And that's what I got out of it.
That's insane. Fuck.
That is definitely what I got out of it.
That's crazy. This is someone that you're supposed to be going to see for advice and like for help to feel better about yourself, and just be like, you're depressed because of the way you look, basically is insane. Because what if that wasn't why you felt that way, but now that thought is implanted,
it wasn't.
Wasn't. Like that's the thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you were somebody that also was susceptible to being insecure in that way, and that's what a medical professional said to you?
Yeah.
Well, shit, call Serena. Get me the fastest fucking row deal you can get. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever left the doctor? Like, have you ever like walked out, like been like, nah, fuck this. Like, I'm not gonna do this.
I don't think that. No, I've never left the doctor.
I like to spar with them niggas, so I very much be trying to stay my ground as much as possible.
Like, I would say in those situations with Izzy, I wanted to, but like obviously I'm here for my child's health. I'm not just gonna leave. So but like. Yeah, it was because I felt so much in shame in the moment that I wanted to go hide. That's just me as a person. I'm very like, I have to go be alone to like reflect on the situation because I'm feeling overwhelmed and judged. But like, so I wanted to. Yeah.
I relate to that because, again, like I said earlier, like I want to disassociate. Like I want to like sink away, but it's also like I'm here for a purpose. And especially if I've already found the courage to go. Because I hate to say, my problem is I would book an appointment and then like not go. Like, just out of like being like, fuck, like I'm scared. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I already like get scrutiny from everybody else. Like, I don't feel like going to this place. I already know what this is about to be. I was being suggested GLP-1s before GLP-1s was even popular. Also real shit. And I did not take it then because I was like, this just seems weird. Like, this seems like a Band-Aid over a bigger problem. This seems like it's not something that's going to help me like actually understand my body either. I don't know. This just seems like a quick fix.
Yeah.
And so you start to kind of like be apprehensive about showing up in the first place. So, you know. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of leaving, it's like, like I agree with that. It's very much like I'm going to work through me feeling those disassociative moments and like feeling that like scared, that fear. I'm going to work through that and still try to persevere through it, but it's not easy to do. And oftentimes it's like
annoying.
It's annoying, but it's oftentimes met with you not being able to ever get to the root of the problem. Like there's a lot of times where I feel like you spend talking about your fatness and it's like, nigga, like we get it, I'm fucking fat. Like what are you actually giving me to help with that though? Like even if we are really talking about that at the time, like what are you really helping me with? Nigga, you telling me when I look in my mirror I should hate myself. Okay, but like again, the nutritional aspect, the movement aspect, like what are we really talking about in this space?
Never, the focus is never on like the things that will actually make change and actually like help.
Yeah.
Because eating healthy and movement is never going to hurt anybody. Like, and those are the things that should be the main focus, not just the weight in this BMI scale, because that's what it is.
It's funny because
this bullshit measurement index. That's what I'm going to call it. Not body, bullshit measurement index. That's what the BMI is on this show.
And as much as I don't love like weight loss propaganda or like weight loss marketing, I don't think like gym ads or like, but I don't think gym ads.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Hear me out for a second. I don't think gym ads, and I don't think like the like certain like workout like equipment, depending on how it's being marketed, is as frustrating to me as an Ozempic ad.
Oh yeah, no.
Personally, like I think that because I as a fat person, unless they're using me as the brunt of the joke, which sometimes is the reason why I'm frustrated by it. I think Planet Fitness, as much as I don't love Planet Fitness, is like
most gyms aren't going to do that because they want to claim inclusive, even though
they're not.
That is also capitalism.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to sell you something.
I think now at this point in time too, it's in bad taste to do that.
Yeah.
So it's in a corporate scale. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Instagram influencers might be doing that, but Planet Fitness is not about to do that. They want our coins, bitch. They want the fat bitch that's gonna go to the gym one time a month and then never cancel that fucking membership.
But motherfuckers be comfortable at Planet Fitness because there's other fat people here.
But that's what I'm saying. Their marketing does not frustrate me as much as the Ozempic ads. And I think it's because even though that industry itself is built off of, like, not being inclusive, their marketing is not being pushed in our face in a way that's making us hate ourselves. Where Ozempic, I feel like, is really, aren't you tired of being fat?
Yeah.
Join our cult. That's what that feels like. It's like, don't you hate the way you look? Take this drug. We promise it's great. It's so dystopian.
So what do you feel like when you're in medical settings and you're not being taken seriously? Like,
I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm wearing a fucking clown suit
and
jigging around the fucking place.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like not being taken serious and not being a fucking joke. And it's fucking annoying as shit because I shouldn't be faced with that when I'm trying to get help.
Absolutely.
For any reason.
I agree. I think to not be taken seriously in general it's sad, it sucks, you know. But when you're in a medical setting, something that can be so critical to life and to be seen as a clown, as a joke, I think is so dangerous. And we're not really talking about it because everybody thinks like when we talk about weight, it's supposed to be something that can be laughed off, can be joked off, can be minimized to just lose weight. But like, it is very dangerous to be dismissed because of your weight, because unfortunately we are taught that being fat equals being unhealthy, and it is a guarantee to have high blood pressure and diabetes and this, that, and the third, but it's not. Being fat does not guarantee those diseases at all. No. Not at all.
The other thing too, I don't even think it's just the doctor that's making me feel that way. I think, especially as a child, right? Like, I'm going to do some shadow work right now on myself, as one always does. Yeah. But I do think that it also affirms, like, parents or, like, maybe that more abusive, more manipulative person, or that, you know, supportive figure that's pushing a certain narrative. It also kind of affirms their abuse, if you will, to continue influencing you that you're not of value because of your size.
Absolutely.
So,
and that is dangerous.
It's dangerous as fuck, because I remember, like, I was telling you a little bit beforehand about, like, my parents influencing a lot of the conversations that I would have, like, in the doctors and everything. And I remember my mom specifically talking to the doctor and kind of influencing, I know I'm a little slower, kind of influencing the conversation in a way that wasn't realistic, to almost like force the doctor in a way to chastise me over my weight, mental health, whatever it may be.
Yeah, like maybe if the doctor isn't bringing it up, they're still making sure it gets brought up.
Yes.
I've had that too.
Yes.
I have had that too.
So you already have this level of distrust in a doctor already. And then, you know, when you're an adult, that doesn't leave you. Yeah. That doesn't leave you. And you almost revert back, again, going back to being disassociative, like you almost revert back to that feeling. So medical abuse happens in a lot of different forms.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oftentimes manipulative.
And I think that's why parents feel so safe to abuse in medical situations.
Yeah. Children are so... I know we talked about Mara and all the things, but a huge part of her interview was talking about children, and it is true. So they're just like the one class of people that are just like have no rights.
Protections. No protections.
But the huge illusion that they do, like there's this huge illusion that like everything we do is to like
protect the kids,
children, push the kids, all the things. But in the hindsight, like children are not given the autonomy to be able to speak up for themselves. And as an adult now, I think I can relate to that. I was once a child myself and remember being in those situations and feeling like I know what I want to say. I know the feelings that I have, but I'm not being allowed to. And especially in a medical setting when, you know, maybe I did have questions about, I can't speak entirely on it, but at the time, maybe I did have questions about, like, what are the right things I should be eating, or, like, you know, being diagnosed with PCOS, what can I be doing at home to help myself, and not even being given the space to do so. And it shapes the way you are, again, like I said, as an adult. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So why do you think that weight is the first thing that doctors blame? Like, it's like an
systematic stigmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like the BMI and like everything else that we're going to touch on later. I think it's just like embedded in the entire culture of the medical field in the first place. Like, I really do think that they're just trained to have those biases passively throughout the education that they get, just because it's never been updated.
Do you think that they train them on purpose because of capitalism? Like, do you think it's like bigger powers at hand? Like,
I think that with from our society scale, I do think that even if I can't say for sure because I don't know, but I do think that I don't think that's an outlandish idea to have based off of watching that society scale and like seeing the kind of intertwining of like, you know, these giant big pharma corporations kind of influencing the marketing that's going on and the
monopoly.
I think that like talking about needing more fat professionals, I think if they're like, I don't think a fat medical doctor, even if there's someone that is being persuaded by big pharma, considering where they're at mentally, all their things, if there's someone that understands weight bias and is in support of changing that, I don't think that the type of medical, you know, suggestions they would have would be based in being biased against fat people.
Right.
I wouldn't assume that, but I would be more likely to, you know, accepting the fact that someone that does not have a certain type of acceptance of fat-bodied people or other individuals might be selling me something that is not aligned with me off of their own bias. But I think it's based off of the professional and what angle they're trying to go at. Not every doctor is the type of doctor that we're talking about. Like, there are a lot of different ways to get, like,
just not like there's not all men, not all white people.
Like, there's more holistic care. Like, there's a lot of different ways to like get medical attention in the first place. So I don't want to make it seem like everyone is horrible, but like that old mindset of medical care, those like that traditional,
it's very much
conservative mindset,
very much the majority.
Yes,
it's very like
it sets a tone for a lot of, which is why I think you see a lot of this. When I look at our healthcare state right now, it seems like there's a lot of misinformation because everyone's trying to find something that makes sense. Because all of the things that we've been taught, we're starting to debunk that they're bullshit. So it's not just like Ozempic is not the only fucked up version of things, and it's not just people trying to get skinny. There's a lot of different versions of craziness in the health world right now. We still have to do the work in figuring out what is actually good for our bodies, which I think we should. Yeah. But if you're gonna use these words, these like big buzzwords, thank you, to like sell something, we should have the education behind it, because you motherfuckers is buying protein Pop-Tarts, you know what I'm saying, thinking you're doing something and you're not. Yeah. Like, not even just the legendary ones. They actually have like Pop-Tart has come out
with their own protein.
And I've seen more brands do that because they're seeing more people talk about protein. Just because it became popular on fucking TikTok from the keto diet, from like the lifting, from the body.
And protein is important. We're not saying that it's not.
Listen, I have PCOS. I need protein to be able to actually function properly. But I know why I need it.
The marketing.
I understand what my
marketing
body
behind
this. Protein's being pushed right now is because of Ozempic.
They need it. For the muscle mass. Yes.
The Ozempic shots are taking away muscle mass because they said you need to have adequate amount of protein to support your muscles so the drug doesn't eat your muscles.
And also, protein makes you feel more satiated. So if you're eating and drinking 30 grams of protein in a small dosage, you can still take your Ozempic shot, not, you know, eat a bunch, but still get your protein intake. Like, it's insane. Again, so that's why understanding why
I've seen this video. It was this dude standing in a motherfucking dog food aisle, and dog food is 600 calories and 200 grams of protein, and he was like
but niggas really in the comment like, I got that dog in me though. Like, niggas really be like thinking about it. Like, it's crazy.
Because those people just so happen to put weight in what they look like over health, over you know, their
health
own and people's judgment.
Health psychosis is crazy.
Insane. Do you think that weight for doctors is used as a shortcut or like a way to avoid investigating actual problems? Because I think they claim to be so like
I think passively I think in terms of like it must be just because you fat. Like I don't think it's like a dig in terms of I don't think that they're trying to be like
she could die.
Fuck it. Maybe
they
somebody
might.
Is. Maybe somebody is. Seriously.
That bitch was breaking babies' arms and
bitch,
shit. Like,
bitch. Some of you motherfuckers go out of your way to be evil, and it shows.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that all of them are like that, but I
Right.
would like to think that a lot of them are just visually, just like I make my own biases about certain people because I was trained to, like, and it's not a good thing, but off of that quick reaction, like in our interview, they touched on like how you get a short span of time. As a hairstylist, you get like a booking basically for your patients, right? Like they get like a 30-minute slot essentially to like sit and talk to us. So in that time frame, they have to quickly think on their feet of like processing of how to help you as a person. So I think physically it's a lot easier to look and you be like, you're fat. That's what you got. That's why you're having your issues than it is to take extra time to really investigate. So I think I don't even think it's just on them. I think it's also in the time, like it's almost in like a fast food environment.
but yeah,
like,
and doing that.
it is. It's not based in really like taking the time to nurture and like actually get to know the patient. It's based off of just trying to get as many people
Because if you're
in as
doing that,
possible.
you're just assuming lifestyle.
Absolutely, which they have to in a way. And honestly, I'm not saying, and in some instances they might be right. Like, you know,
Right.
they're basically trained to make educated guesses in order to like push you in the right direction to get health. And a lot of times they are correct. But I think when we're specifically talking about fat people, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to do the extra
Because why are you
step.
fat? You could be
Yes.
fat for a plethora
Yes.
of reasons.
Yes.
And not just because you're
Monolithic.
sanitary and non-compliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's quite frankly not like, that's not the reality for most
Yeah.
people, but you know. Have you ever had symptoms dismissed and later found out something else was wrong?
I haven't, but I had a fear that was the case. I had went to the emergency room a couple years ago because I was just like having like pains in the veins of my legs, like especially when I would smoke. So I know that the veins were like twisting. Like it was like I was afraid that I was having a fucking like blood clot.
Yeah.
Like I literally like left work and went to the emergency room, and that was not the case. I just got varicose veins. But like, you know, that was new to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, that is another reason why, like, as I'm getting later in my years, that I'm really like, okay, I really do have to put my health forward. I don't want to, like, deal with varicose veins. That shit is painful. But that's also genetic. My mother had varicose veins and, you know, so on and so forth. So I'm glad to say that I haven't. Again, a privilege with me being able to just go to the doctor because I've never really had nothing serious wrong with me. I've always been healthy despite my BMI always being high. I've always had good vitals. So yeah, that was like the small instance that I thought. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't.
For me, before I was actually diagnosed with PCOS, I feel like that's when it was like the weirdest for me medically, because it was very much like you're fat, like you're just fat, like you obviously just eat a lot, or you eat a lot just because you want to eat a lot, not because there's an actual like reason, like a chemical imbalance within your body and why the food noise makes you want to eat a lot, like all the things.
Yeah.
So I think before I got diagnosed with PCOS, there was a lot of like, you're just fat kind of thing from not only just medical professionals, but also from family. And then having...
It's a self-control issue.
Yeah, basically, like I can't handle myself type shit. But after having that confirmation, and mind you, I had to see numerous specialists for that. It took time to get that diagnosis. Like that wasn't a simple thing to do, where I think now it's a lot more common to just like your PCP probably can diagnose you. But at the time, like I literally had to, which I don't know, I could be misspeaking on that, but at the time I had to like get like an ultrasound of my ovaries. Like they had to like see the cyst and internally it's just like uncomfortable for a child to have a grown ass man, you know what I'm saying, do an ultrasound on your private parts essentially, you know what I mean? So, but having that really did help to like soften the conversation. But even still, there was no like, I'm still learning how to manage my PCOS, but there was no real, it was just like, okay, you have PCOS, so like now let's give you gastric bypass to like make you skinny.
Yeah,
But
that does not.
And mind you, PCOS is a lifelong illness. That's not something that goes, even if I lost all the weight that I had, I can regulate my PCOS, but it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
So there was no conversation.
Putting a Band-Aid over a problem.
No.
Tape over a plumbing
I
issue.
didn't find out that dairy, wheat, like seriously, like having a certain level of protein, like eating, like why I love vegetables way more than I like fruit, like just those natural things are so much more important to someone that has PCOS than just losing weight. Movement in your body, how honestly people with PCOS, depending on the version you have, will just hold more weight because we honestly hold more muscle mass because a lot of us produce a little bit more testosterone. Like it's a thing. And but those conversations was not what was being had when I was diagnosed, although it helped people to fuck off with in terms of weight a little bit. I still didn't know how to manage it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Do you think that fat patients have to prove they deserve care?
I think fat people have to prove that they deserve to live, that they deserve to be human. So of course I think that they have to prove that they deserve care, but I don't think that they're successful in proving that at all times. I think depending on that doctor, like we've been saying, a doctor can be more susceptible to listening to their patient, or they can be stern in their thoughts, beliefs, and bias, and then we don't get far, we don't get far that way. So I can try, but doctors, I mean, they have to be know-it-alls in a sense, and I think that could be their downfall, thinking that they know better than the person that is living in the body, Yeah.
So I think yes, in terms of like you said, we have to prove ourselves regardless.
Yeah.
I just think it's a passive thing, though. I just don't think that we think about it in the moment. I think we're so trained to having to prove ourselves.
Yeah.
That when we're in a medical situation and we already know you're walking into the fucking lion's den, and you know that. I think that you kind of, even if they're not even being like, I'm apprehensive with every doctor, especially the first time I'm with them.
Yeah.
So I might be more dismissive and more like protective, even if they're not purposely going out of their way to make me prove that I need care, just off of prior experiences that I've had. So
I think that's our defensive mechanism, because that comes
100%.
up in dating and social situations, and also in the medical field.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't. Not in the medical field, especially because, I mean, when you take a risk and you go on a date with somebody, you're putting yourself out there. It is a risk. It shouldn't be risky to go to the doctor. But if that's like literally the opposite of what it should be.
It's almost like it's like a study almost that you're doing. Like if you the date analogy, right? Like let's say you're going on a date, and every single time you go on a fucking date, this person doesn't show up, or there's like this this horrible situation that goes on every single time. You're gonna be a little bit more nervous going to keep going on those dates. So in the medical field, if every time you go see a new doctor, or the same doctor, and you're met with some type of like just distrust or whatever it may be, so I don't think every doctor has made me prove it, but I think I've had to prove myself to make myself feel comfortable in those settings, sometimes as a way of like being defensive and protecting like what I think is important.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Moving into some black shit, because that's what we got
This is for
to
the
do.
niggas, strictly for the niggas. This is for the niggas, strictly for the niggas,
Do you think that being black changes how doctors listen to you?
Absolutely, nigga.
Yeah.
Yes. I talked about this story already. I talked about this story about how the Brussels sprout story when I was out at dinner.
The Brussels lady bitch.
I've talked about this before. And I do think a part of it not only was the fact that I was fat, but the fact that I was black. These niggas think that we fucking go to the grocery store and buy fucking frozen foods and don't understand how fruits and vegetables are important to a natural diet.
That's how it felt when she asked me about a whole food. Like, you think that I don't know what a whole fruit is?
I grew up in a household, I'm not kidding, I didn't eat canned foods. I deadass was not I wasn't allowed to, but we didn't believe in that. Like, we went to the grocery store and picked out our fucking green beans and shit. We didn't get the canned shit. We would just go to the store. And I grew up in an ingredient household. That's just what the fuck we did. That's what I was used to. I still grocery shop at the fucking Westside Market. I go out of my way to buy things that I think are organic and healthy because my grandmother grew up on a fucking farm. So, the assumption that I don't know how to fucking feed myself when my sister was vegan for years. I first off have been going to weight loss classes, fucking all these different nutritional classes since I was a kid because I was fat. I think I know what foods are healthy. So the assumption that you don't, especially in a medical world, it's already like I'm already dismissing the doctor, if I'll be honest. I'm like, you don't even think I know what fucking berries are, bitch. Like, I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
If you're so ignorant to assume something like that,
I don't even.
It makes me very hard to trust you.
And I'm like, bitch, nobody should see your ass.
No, yes, because what level of care are you giving to people?
Especially not a woman. Your perfect patient is a white man. Bitch.
And then, so we already know that black patients are seen as exaggerating pain. They think that we take pain better because that is racial medical bias.
Yeah.
How do you think the racial medical bias and the fat medical bias combine in medical settings?
So I'm not gonna say who it is because this is like a medical situation. So I have a family member that like constantly is in and out of the hospital, and that I'm definitely instrumental in trying to help them. The type of this person is a prior cancer patient, like has a lot of, I don't know if you guys have someone in your family that has had cancer in the past. That means that certain parts of your body cannot be worked upon because you don't have certain nerve endings if you've gone through chemo. There was one specific situation. This person had a stroke. Oh, this is so fucking frustrating to talk about. Also, fuck this medical system. But this person had a stroke. We were in the emergency room. And this person's actively stroking out in the middle of the fucking emergency room. I'm walking up to the front desk and I'm like, we need a room. Like, we need to, like, and just no cause for concern, no eagerness to help. Just, okay, we'll get to, like, I'm watching this person's eyes roll back type shit. Like, absolutely insane. And so I'm like, fuck it. I'll stand, like, I literally looked this woman in the eye and was like, I'm not going to sit down until you get me help. The fact that I had to advocate that hard, and then on top of that, going back to this person being a cancer survivor, the fact that I had to continuously ask for them to give me a red band for their left fucking arm to make sure that we know that you cannot put anything on that side of their fucking body. I shouldn't have had to say these things once.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, I don't think it's just black people. I don't think it's just women that experience medical bias, but I do think that I have more experiences than not where I have to repeat myself in an already stressful situation more times than one just to get my basic needs.
When you hold different identities.
My basic needs. I'm not asking you for no extra shit. I'm not asking you to get me water chips out the fucking like machine. I'm not asking you for blankets and shit, which even if I fucking did, I'm paying for it. Let's be fucking real. I'm asking for basic shit and you're being met with like this discourse. Is frustrating as fuck. I don't know. It's like, I think as a black person, you're kind of trained to go through those situations, and that's why I think a lot of us are extra vigilant when we're in a medical setting.
I think we have to be.
Are a lot more aware of like, it's been 10 minutes, like, nigga, every time I'm in the hospital, I don't care if it's for me or someone else's family, they ain't been in here in a minute. Somebody go to the nurse's station. Get me the nurse's station's number so I can make sure I can call and check on you and make sure that you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like, there's that extra protection that I don't always see my, like, white friends have in terms of medical environment.
Because that is a privilege that they don't have to think about being mistreated in a medical situation. Yeah. I would say unless they are fat.
Yeah.
You know?
Literally. So why do you think shame is used so much in healthcare when it comes to weight?
I think shame is used as a tool. It's a tool in a toolbox that they can pull out for fat people. One, because they're taught to, and that is the first thought. And then two, because it makes they're busy. I feel like this is disgusting to say, but I think because they don't view us in the same realm as standard people as far as like our humanity and how that lies, it's almost like, okay, let me get on to the next person that I can really help, because obviously this is their fat. This is their fatness. It's dismissive. Why dismissive. Even bother? Yeah. Once this person loses the weight and come back and has the same problem, maybe then I'll help them. Yeah. But for now, it's like you need to prove to me that you're worth me giving you help in the first place. It's almost like the thin people, the standardized people, they're worth the investigation. They're worth the test. They're worth the money spent to correctly and adequately figure out what is wrong with them, when I think it's a lack of humanity.
They don't even want to take the horse to the water type shit. Do you know what I'm saying? They're kind of like figuring it out on your own. Yeah. I do think also this is the perfect moment for them to sell you some shit. Like, I do think off of what you're saying, this is the perfect, like, we'll just take Ozempic. We'll just, you know, like, what was the other thing that they were selling a few years ago? Not just the Ozempic shit. Metformin. Which, as someone that has PCOS.
My grandmother takes metformin.
It's great for someone that, like, for,
if you have diabetes.
She has diabetes. Like, that's why she takes metformin.
As someone that has PCOS, I was taking metformin as a child. I was taking, that shit fucks with your kidneys, bro. I was wrapped around a toilet. I remember missing school for that shit. Like, I was taking it for years on, like, a body that was not even developed, on some real shit.
That's crazy.
And I was taking that, birth control, and spirulactin. Like, which is the holy trinity for PCOS. Like, most of the time, that is what you're prescribed. I don't get a consistent period still.
I don't think that there's probably the research that would even
to be able to know. But I think of like, this is so crazy though, because obviously I'm a queer woman and all the things, and I have this like there's moments where I have like this gender identity like struggle, all the things, and I definitely attribute it to my PCOS, which I've noticed a lot of people with PCOS do have that. And for me, my body does not function like some of my like girlfriends' bodies do. Like, I don't get a period every month. I grow a lot more facial hair. I grow a lot more hair on my body. Period. When I work out, I gain muscle mass in a lot of ways. I'm strong as fuck. Like, my stature is different. I have broad shoulders. Like, all the things. So I think for me, like being on those drugs as a kid, it probably never really allowed my body to develop in a way that is normal. I look at, you know, like my mom and my sister who have like more of a feminine build, even if it's not like they're not thick as fuck. None of us are thick as fuck. That's not our story. But like, but still, like they got big ass titties, cleavage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? It's just like their body fits differently. I just don't think I was ever given a chance to fully develop into myself, for one. And then two, I think it's just like because there's not a lot of research in general, like instead of giving me the lifestyle skills, but just forcing me to take medications, especially birth control, before I was even having sex. Like I'm on, like the pill weekly, my nigga. Yeah. Taking birth control before I even have a period, like just that young as fuck to incite a period, quite frankly. Like, but not teaching me what foods I should be taking, not teaching me like the proper, like I get a period in the months that when I'm taking the best care of myself. Do you know what I'm saying? When I'm giving myself the things that my body needs and really listening to what my body needs is when I have a period, when I'm eating certain levels of protein, when I'm being more cautious of the dairy that I'm eating, when I'm walking more, when I'm, you know, regulating my cortisol levels and trying to like stay a little bit more calm even in stressful moments. That's when my body's like, you know, but that wasn't what I was taught in terms of care. PCOS is crazy. If you have PCOS, if you're a sister, we in this together in this good fight, Lord. Yeah. Amen. But it's crazy. It's crazy as fuck. Yeah. I literally, for a while before I got laser, because gender affirming care is so important. I think that if you have PCOS, no matter how you want to present yourself gender wise, is what you choose. For me, I really do like, I'm more androgynous for sure, but I'm a pussy girl. Like, I got cunt, bitch. Like, I got cunt type shit. So for me, like getting laser and like doing certain things to affirm my body was really important to make me feel comfortable with myself, but also understanding that like PCOS is something that really does dictate every aspect of my life. And yeah, I wish there was more conversations around it, especially for fat people, because a lot of times you don't get the diagnosis that you need because you're fat, even though that's a huge reason why I was a larger kid.
Yeah, and I know on the docket, and maybe next season we'll definitely have a episode on PCOS.
Yeah, because it's a huge part of it.
Yeah, and it affects a lot of women in their weight and how they feel about themselves.
It's crazy because like my grandmother, right? My grandmother on my mom's side, she passed away when my mom was 5, like really young, which is a whole other can. But growing up, hearing that she didn't get her period until she was 18, 19.
Was she very thin?
No. This is so crazy. So we come from a small town. So my grandmother's nickname was Dot. And a lot of like the elders in our hometown would be like, Dot, like calling to her name, thinking that, because I look a lot like her type shit. Like thinking, like not thinking that I was her, but just knowing like, you gotta be her grandkid. Like you look just like that lady. She was a thicker. Oh, that's why I love my grandfather so much, because he like loved plus size women out loud. Like he was not, and my grandfather was like a beautiful man, seriously. But he loved the fuck out of my grandmother. Like beautiful plus size woman, dark skinned woman, like fly as fuck. Like I'm so sad that I never got the chance to meet her, but I feel her like in me, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
But hearing that she didn't get her period until she was 18, also knowing that she passed away at a young age from a blood clot, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, she was a black woman in a certain time. I don't know what her medical situation was like. I could assume that she probably didn't have access to at least the same level of care as her white counterparts, especially at that time. Yeah. And it's sad to think that, I don't know if she had PCOS, but looking at her, pictures of her, and I will definitely add pictures of her into this because I have a few, looking at pictures of her, and then also like seeing her body type and hearing that she didn't get a period until a certain age. She struggled having kids as well. She had numerous miscarriages, if I'm not being misspoken at this point. Like, I would like to think that she had PCOS. I looked at my mom. Me and my siblings are all very spaced out. That was not intentional. She wanted me and my sister to be 2 years apart. There's an 8-year gap between us. It's difficult to conceive children when you have PCOS. She's never been diagnosed, but my sister, she struggles with her, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, but because I was fat, it was easier to like, you know, as a fat child, it was easier
wrong. Let's go get her checked out.
Yeah.
Well,
PCOS sucks.
So I do think that not only do doctors use shame as a tool, I think that they do think that it motivates people. Why? I have no idea. I mean, we have an idea, but I want to know why why people in general don't think that fat people know that they're fat. Like, why do they think that they have to like be like point it out and then explain it away almost.
I think it's kind of like a how dare you be comfortable being in yourself, so let me remind you that you're not shit. I think it's just like, let me draw attention to this thing that makes you less than in my eyes, because you clearly, since you're living your truth, must not realize that you're othered.
Yeah.
Since you're so confident existing, let me remind you that you're not shit to the rest of us. That's what it feels like.
So you think they putting us in our place, like checking us in a sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's the same shit as like when, let's say we're around a bunch of white people.
Yeah.
And it's like do you listen to rap music? It's a temperature check.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like you're trying to remind me of who I am, like I don't fucking know because I'm othered, and you want to make sure that I know that I'm different.
Yeah.
I think in a medical space, though, when it happens in that way, like you came here for medical help, so if you didn't know beforehand, you are fat, and we don't like those people here. You know what I'm saying? But I think in either setting, it's to remind you that you're different.
Yeah. Just to double down on that. The double down allows the dismissiveness and the neglect and care.
You're not welcome here.
Yeah. There's only so much we can do for you because
you're fat. Yeah. So because of that, like, do you think weight is treated like a moral failure instead of a health factor? Like, why do you think, off of what we were just talking about, that contributes to that conversation?
I actually think we touched a little bit on this last episode on top of the society, and I think they feel almost rectified by the BMI scale, or like, you know, that is the proof, even though the BMI scale was not created by a doctor but a mathematician.
Which is insane as fuck when you think about that shit.
I think...
What does nigga know about weight?
And it was for the measurements of European men. But I think that it is treated as a moral failure. I think people use the health factor to make it a moral failure. So I think those things are actually connected. The more that I think about those
such a valid point.
two words, I think because of...
It's like the evidence that they needed to be able to back it up.
I feel like when you take the capitalism of the weight, like, why they want us to lose weight, and like, obviously they want to sell and market us stuff, and they use shame and otherness and divisiveness to shame and market us stuff, and then these can be taken as your health factors. So, you know, obviously you're going to have diabetes if you're fat, you're going to have a heart attack if you're fat, you're automatically going to have a stroke if you're fat, you're gonna die so you can't get a bigger cat. Like, you know, like, it's things that people say throughout your life that is like, okay, these things are bound to happen to you because you live in a bigger body, and because these are going to happen to you, I'm morally better because I'm in a thinner body, and these things are less likely to happen to me. Like, it's just literally, it's all intertwined, and people will use your health against you in order to make it a moral failure, to shame you, to justify the shame, to justify you being a moral failure. As we're shifting out of this conversation and we can start discussing some of the data around this topic of conversation, how do you, as Karrington Allure, advocate for yourself without feeling like you're being difficult?
Not shying away from the conversation in which why I went to the doctor in the first place. Like, if the conversation keeps being redirected, which, like I said, oftentimes does not, but if it does, thank you. But again, I'm here to talk about whatever I was going to talk about. So just not allowing the conversation to go too far away from why I was there in the first place.
Yeah, so just always bringing it back. If it gets redirected, just
no matter how uncomfortable it makes me or the person that I'm talking to either.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, it's, you know, I have an insecurity of like making things tough on people. So I kind of struggle with like being difficult. Yeah. But in a medical setting, it is about me. And that's how I know that I can't be difficult, because it is about me and my health. And I take that very seriously. And I don't care what I look like. You're going to take me seriously regardless. So I'm always going to stand 10 toes. And I like to call that shit out. I do. There's been moments at work where a manager has approached me and said that I had an attitude, and I said, well, I think that you're biased, because I'm just asking questions and having an adult conversation with you, and you expect me to just not, because you are a manager and you have this power and you hold this authority in a sense, and I'm going to question your authority every time because I am an adult and I am going to advocate for myself. So I think we have to take that into the doctor's office with us, no matter where we're going. Doctors, dentists, OBGYN, going to see a foot specialist, whatever, chiropractor, mental health professional. We have to go in there knowing that we're going in for us and nothing else, and for our health and our betterment. Like you said, don't shy away, redirect, be aware of the conversation so that you can always control that conversation. It's about me. It's about you. Take your health seriously and make sure that they do too. And I think if they know, okay, this person is not here to play, I'm not going to say that it's automatically going to get the doctor to take you seriously or to, you know, take heed to your conversations. But I do think it may help. Or it might help the next person. Yeah. And do your own research. I mean, come in there with, and don't try to don't WebMD everything and think that this is what it is, but just have some talking points that you can bring up if they try to dismiss. Make sure that you have some things that you can combat with them and go back and forth. I don't want somebody to just tell me what to do or tell me that this is what it is, and, you know, go have a second opinion. Go see somebody else. Go weigh your options. I know it's hard and it is expensive, but maybe invest in seeing a natural doctor. Do your research and see what your options are and see if there's any resources out there that can assist you in making sure that you go into the doctor's office feeling confident, because I also think when you speak with confidence and you speak with intellect and some knowledge about the situation, that it's harder for them to lead off into a different direction.
When do you think it's time to find a new doctor?
Okay, this is my thing. I do things in threes, and I'm OCD, maybe. Like, I do have very methodical practices in my life that make no sense. But I would say 3 times. Initial appointment when you get to know, that's always try to go one more time at least after that, because but I think
they might be having an off day, who knows.
I think, you know, second time, if it comes up on the docket, it comes up on the docket. I do feel like sometimes it has to be addressed depending on what's in your vitals and in your paperwork. But if it is like a situation that I had where I'm here for my mental health and you say, oh, and by the way, your weight, you like use your own discernment in where the conversation should be going, and if you notice that it goes there too many times, or if they bring it up too much, or if that seems to be like the sole focus and they're making decisions strictly off of that, I would request a new doctor. I would and then continue to do my research and try to find somebody that's a little bit more compatible, or that we might have some commonalities as far as like culture or whatever, you know, where that situation, it might not happen as much.
For me, it's just, if someone's being dismissive initially, I'm just not, it's not even
you're not creating a safe space.
Literally, like, if you're being dismissive to me, or you're kind of being condescending, thinking I don't know anything, or talking down upon me, like, I'm probably not going to come back for another appointment with you. And that's not just for the physician itself, it's for your team also. If like the person that's doing my intake makes me feel away, like they're an extension of you, so that's when I'm like, it's time for me to look for someone else.
Yeah. What are some things that you can say when doctors do blame everything on weight?
It's hard because I think it depends on what the angle is.
Yeah.
If it's coming from like, this isn't even why I came in here, then I'm going to redirect the conversation like I said beforehand. If it is just like my PCP that keeps talking to me about my weight, okay, but like, what are, like, can we investigate on maybe why? Because especially at that point, if it's like,
you're gonna give me a referral to a nutritionist or a dietitian.
But also at this point, even if it's like I eat a normal diet or whatever it may be, like, is there an imbalance in my body that's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, can
like,
we do the thyroid test?
Medications?
Can we do?
Yes, like that's where I'm like, okay, well, what can we do to like test these things to see what I need to take care of my body? But if it's not centered around, if the conversation is not going towards like, let's take some tests, let's do something to see why your body is the way it is, I'm going to keep looking for someone else that might offer that.
Yeah. I think just kind of like what I said in the beginning, just having things to combat their accusations with.
Truly going off of like our guests that we'll have on here, maybe inviting someone that has like more of an ethical background into this setting that maybe is employed by the hospital to help mitigate those conversations. You know, if I'm feeling unsure as a patient, I'm not versed on medical terms or like education at all, I'm going to ask for someone to advocate for me that might be more knowledgeable, because they can speak from both sides of the story. So
absolutely. And don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid. If you can't advocate for yourself, do not be afraid to bring somebody or to seek somebody that might be able to help or assist or support you in that.
Going to our next point in terms of like, what does respectful care actually look like? I think it is being met with some type of actual understanding and want to like really get to the root of the problem, not being dismissed. Like, I think that's what actual care looks like, is someone that wants to do the test, that wants to kind of go on that journey with you to really help you understand your body and what's best for you.
Yeah.
You know?
I think somebody that sees you as a whole human and not just as a part.
Entity.
Yeah.
Or a
just with
customer,
that.
quite
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah. Or a customer. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
As someone to treat and not somebody to sell to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We are going to switch things up and do things a little bit different today for Into the Thick of It. You know, this segment is where we back up our talk. We talk data, statistical facts, and we bring in guests. And this is the first time we're bringing in a guest into the thick of it. So welcome.
Thanks.
This is Madeline Reyes, right?
Yes.
She is, I'm just like making sure. She is a PhD student in bioethics. And we have her here today to help us dive in and talk about the weight of medical neglect. Welcome.
Thrilling. So fun.
Thanks
for having me here.
I'm glad to have you. So, would it be correct to call you a medical professional or?
I think so.
Okay.
I have a background in chaplaincy, and then I'm studying.
And can you explain chaplaincy?
Chaplaincy provides spiritual care
to
patients from hospital.
Okay, I think I watched The Pit. I don't know. Do you watch The Pit?
Everyone tells me I should watch The Pit.
You should
I've
watch
not
The Pit.
Seen it. I've seen like one episode.
You should watch The Pit. It is literally like I'm very autistic. I do not like to watch new shows at all.
Yeah.
I will watch. I have a.
Yeah.
You've noticed that? I have a like.
I'm gonna recycle what I know.
Yeah. So my cousin told me to watch The Pit. I turned on one episode and literally was like zoned in. This season they have somebody that I believe is doing that. I don't something of that nature maybe.
Yeah.
Where they're like helping them, like they're in hospice care and have like terminal illness and just kind of like helping them through the process. So is that similar?
Probably. I mean, I'm not sure.
Okay.
We talk like people talk about The Pit because they at some point apparently like mention medical ethics. Like they're like, oh, we need to call in medical ethics. I don't know if they ever do or if they ever show up, but they do mention it. Yeah. I don't know if they ever.
What made you, just before we get into it, what made you want to go into that direction?
Medical ethics? I mean, I'm a medical nerd, so it always just like interested me. I'm like one of those weirdos who's like spending their free time like watching weird documentaries about shit that's like. Can I curse? Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, bitch.
Hell yeah, motherfucker. What the fuck you thought this was, bitch?
Yeah. And then just like seeing what I saw in chaplaincy, and then mostly also like being a like disabled, chronically ill person of color, like dealing with medicine.
Yeah.
It's like some shit's messed up here. Let's fix it. Let's do it. So
I like that. Definitely have to take things. I think that was us like doing this podcast, having to take your situation into your own hands.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Get in there, get dirty, like expose yourself in a sense. So I'm glad you get to advocate for people, and that's dope.
Definitely.
That's dope. So from your perspective as a medical professional, how real is weight bias in healthcare?
So real.
Yeah.
First things first on the real list. What is that song?
I'll sing it for some people I can feel.
I think that was Iggy Azalea.
It was Nancy by Iggy Azalea.
Yeah.
Wait,
So that.
I'm
spraying my joint, straight quick back. One to the clap, who knows you ready?
A little bit of
She's like the motherfucking nigga from what is that shit, the Thornberries?
Oh my fucking god. That's funny to this day, man. She stopped rapping after that.
she's gone. She's been real quiet.
Because Tim, what was you thinking? I love T.I. T.I. is a legend.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, I took a false off course.
No, it's okay. We always fall off course. That's the...
Yeah, no, it's super real. I would say, like, I study mostly like disability in medicine, but like weight bias, like disability and weight bias are like two, I think, of like the biggest issues in medicine that are just like everywhere. They're just like, it's woven its way into like every aspect of medicine at this point. Yeah.
Do you find yourself like experiencing a lot of backlash because that is your stance with it? Because you are almost in a way like going directly against the current of what the current medical state is?
It sort of depends. I think like I teach med students, and like the way that we are teaching med students, they just are not generally trained to like think about these things. So I don't even know that it feels like there's backlash. They're just like, what are you talking about? Like, this is new to me.
Why do you think they're not like, why is that not trained?
I mean, some of it is like they have to like train in so much in such a short amount of time, but also they're being actively trained on like shit like the BMI, like that we know is not legitimate anymore, that just like hasn't been removed from like the medical school curriculum.
Is that a conversation that you're having in those spaces, or just being like, that's like, even having to address it, is a conversation still talking about it in a way that's encouraging them to use the BMI as a scale, or is it something that you're able to address as being in existence in our history and kind of still steering them away from using it in like a more practical state for what people need per their bodies?
In my experience, like having the conversation with them, bringing up like, hey, you know that BMI is, you know how it's like not great, and they're like, what do you mean? Like they just have no idea that it's like not really a valid measurement. And then they want to replace it with something. Like they want to be like, okay, do we use like waist circumference? And it's really hard to get them to understand like, no, we don't need to necessarily use anything.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not how they're trained to think. They're very methodical.
Yeah.
Methodological, that's not right.
So you would say that the BMI has great influence over how doctors treat patients?
Absolutely. And I mean, oftentimes in like life or death decisions, like if you need a transplant and you're over a certain BMI, you can be rejected for the transplant. Or like if you need like gender affirming surgery, oftentimes they'll require you to be like below a certain BMI. It's just a number, but it's like dictating literally your life.
I mean, even with gastric bypass, you have to lose weight in order. It's almost, and I know that a lot of people say, well, if I could lose the weight on my own, why would I be in this office talking to you? But it's almost like you have to show your worth, or show like, we're not going to do this for no reason, even though that doesn't show anything, because there's many people that have lost the weight, gotten the surgery, and still blow up like a balloon, because it's a tool. It isn't something that guarantees weight loss. Just like I would say in this instance, being overweight isn't something that guarantees disease or poor health or sickness.
Right.
So, have you ever seen a patient's symptoms be dismissed because of their weight? Like,
oh yeah, I've seen patients die because their like symptoms were dismissed as like, they come in, for example, with like back pain, and it's dismissed as like being a side effect of fatness, and it turns out to be like metastatic cancer, and by the time it's caught, like they're dead. And like obviously there's no way to know if that would have happened anyway, but the fact that like if they had just been thin, they could have gotten diagnosed earlier. I see it all the time.
That's devastating to hear.
It's funny hearing that, because it's not a surprise to hear at the same time, if I'll be honest. You know, I think we all can relate to not being taken serious because of our weight in a medical stance, and it's frustrating as a fat person to be kind of looked frowned upon or looked down upon for having a genuine concern over your health, but not being taken seriously just off of how you look or the preconceived notion that they have about you. It's frustrating.
Yeah,
it is.
Definitely. It's frustrating, and it's like scary.
It is.
To think like,
because you don't feel trusted. I'm not educated on medicine. I don't know how to heal myself in those ways, and I think that's really irresponsible and scary to assume that somebody would take their own route. I think there's a lot of confusion in that when people do self-medicate in a lot of ways, but also to not be able to trust medical professionals too. It's kind of like, where do you go at that point? It's frustrating, and it's scary. It's a scary plane to walk
because
on.
I'm supposed to trust you with my life, but you haven't even heard my name, know my story, know my symptoms, and you're already coming to a conclusion in your head based off of a bias that you had. Like, and the fact that I believe that it should be taught in medical school that there is a bias, and we should be learning how to combat those things and combat the blemish that the BMI scale has put onto the medical field, because I think that is inhumane in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny you can add to this as well. It's funny hearing you say that, because I agree with that, but I'm also like, we just now started talking about racial bias in the medical world. So the thing that we're even talking about, even though you would almost think that the body conversation would come first in that, if I'll be honest, because I mean, quite frankly, that's all that matters. But,
and everybody's bad.
But it's funny when you think like we just started talking about the basic aspect of access. So like, to think that we're even getting in depth of bodies and like what you know, is acceptable in terms of health. Is like we have so many other things I think that we have to talk about first, which is frustrating as a fat person. Yeah. Especially as a fat Black person or a person of color. Like, as a woman.
I mean, being fat.
May I go on?
Yeah, all the things.
Yeah.
Being fat, being Black was something that I thought a lot about in labor.
I believe
it was something that I thought a lot about in labor.
I believe that.
Yeah. So it is scary because you're like, what if this one person and being in that situation, most nurses were nice, but there was that one nurse where you're like, okay, I don't know if I
gotta
trust
watch this one.
Yeah. I don't know if I trust this person to look out for my true needs and what I want. Yeah. Like, and advocate for me. So I think it's very important the role that you play in the healthcare system.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the risks are real, like especially with childbirth. Like for Black women, it's like 3 times more dangerous. It's like
absolutely.
And I mean, recently there were like I think 2 or 3 videos. There was a few nurses that were like went viral. Like I don't know if you guys. This was maybe like a few months ago. There was 2 Black women. I think one in the South. She was doing intake and she was actively in labor.
Oh
and
yeah,
the
I
nurse,
saw that.
Yes, and it's like there was 2 or 3 other videos that came about around that same time, and it's like it's a common thing I think that's talked about amongst like people of color and like especially the Black community that you don't really trust the people. Yeah. Be watchful of those. Watch the energy, but to see it recorded and oftentimes not see much action taken after the fact. You might see a dismissal or like she might lose her job, whatever it may be. You might see them lose their license. It depends. Like it's frustrating.
I honestly feel like it's a double whammy if you're Black and you're fat because Black people already have a distrust with the medical community because they used us for experiments, specifically Black women, but Black men. You know what was that? The Tuskegee experiments. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you cannot trust your healthcare provider, if you cannot trust the police and the people that are there to help you on the street as a civilian, who can you trust? And then they act like we live in the same America. Yeah, they're
And to your point too, it's fat people across the board as well. Like not just obviously in the Black stance, it's a lot more difficult. But yes. It does not matter your race in the terms of the medical field. If you are a larger person,
and I think that's something that we touched on
as well. Yeah.
Last episode was that it doesn't matter that the fat bias crosses gender, race, class. It is people are fatphobic, and we live in it is so ingrained in us. Yeah. That it is woven into the medical system, and it should not be. Hearing that people die because they have cancer. Mm-hmm. Not being caught because they've been dismissed because of their bodies. I don't know. Y'all know that's not right. There's no person with a good heart and good sense that would tell me that shit is okay.
Yeah.
So why do you think some doctors assume larger patients are non-compliant or unhealthy without asking questions?
I mean, so I think those are like 2 different things. Non-compliance is an issue that we see with like Black patients, poor patients, patients with disabilities, especially like psychiatric disabilities. Yeah. Either because there is, like legitimately some barrier to taking the medications or because they don't want to take the medications for whatever, oftentimes perfectly legitimate reason. But we know also that, I mean, generally as a society, we associate like laziness with fat bodies. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely like all of that is compounded amongst medical practitioners. So I think like this assumption that like especially if you hold many of those identities, there's almost like you're going in and they're going to assume automatically that you are going to be non-compliant. Like you don't even have to prove it. That's just sort of like the assumption. Yeah. Not always, like not with everyone, but like of course.
And that's why we appreciate having someone that like you in this space that wants to again go against the grain and take up space to kind of change that tide. Like we need more medical professionals that are trying to, combat bias and help to show society that everyone's body is deserving of access to healthcare. Absolutely. And access to people that are knowledgeable about your body in an unbiased way. So, yeah.
And then, so where do you come in the process?
So I am training to be an ethicist. Mm-hmm. So ideally, if things go like the way that I hope they go, I will both, like educate students, especially medical students, and then also do clinical ethics. So like ethics in a hospital setting. So what happens there is like when you have a complex situation in a hospital, an ethically complex situation, you can call in a medical ethicist to come in and give recommendations on like the most ethical way to proceed in the in the situation. But I definitely, like, as a chaplain and now, see a big part of my role as, like, advocacy and pointing out the ways that systemic injustices are contributing in cases. Like, that is an ethical issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We have, like, 4 guiding principles, and one of them is justice.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
Yeah, but it's tough, right? Because, like, you also are, like, working within the system, and then you want to be supportive to doctors and nurses and everyone else.
Absolutely.
So it's tough to, like, navigate not alienating anyone, but also like advocating for patients.
I just think it's amazing to even have that, though, because there's so many people that, even if you have a supportive family, that would not know how to advocate for themselves in those situations. So to have that third person that is knowledgeable on both sides, but also does have a special point to advocate for the patient, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think it's great that you are a middle ground for both, because that means you're able to see both sides of that story and really help.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So having the knowledge that you have, how can patients advocate for themselves if they feel like their doctor is blaming things that they know isn't linked to their weight on their weight and focusing on that?
I mean, the first thing is, I think people don't realize this, like, if you're over the age of 18 and you have capacity, which, like, most of us do, any encounter with a doctor, everything that happens is up to you. So, like, when you walk into a doctor's office and they say, get on the scale, you can say, like, no, I don't want to get on the scale.
Really?
You can always say that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm always like, fuck.
Is that, like, news to both of you?
I've never heard
that.
that.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can say, I'm not
How
interested in that.
institutionalized we all are, though.
Yeah.
Truly,
Yeah.
Truly.
It's my
terrifying.
favorite thing to say no to a doctor when they're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. Thank you.
You're like, what if I don't?
Yeah.
You first.
Not you first.
Let's do it together.
Yeah, there's nothing that happens in a doctor's office that you can't say no to. Like, I mean, there's things that are important, but if you're not comfortable, like, it's your body, and you get to say no. I think also it can be helpful to, like, I mean, it's hard because there's no, like, formal system technically of, like, vetting people. Like, Health at Every Size has, like, a resource that you can, like, go up and, like, sign yourself up if you're a doctor to say, like, I'm a Health at Every Size practitioner.
That's amazing.
But that's not necessarily vetted in any way, and there's not a ton of them. So just, like, chatting, I think, to other fat people, like, hey, who do you see? And, like, how do they treat you?
Their
Community is important for that
yeah,
reason.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, I mean, you can say, too, if you're in an appointment and a doctor says, like, oh, well, let's talk about your weight, you can always say, I don't want to. I'd rather not. I want to talk about, like, this other thing. But, of course, that's complicated, especially if you are also, you know, like, hold some of those other marginalized identities. They may see that as adversarial. So it's, like, a tough tightrope. But, yeah, you can always say no.
What are some red flags that a doctor is being dismissive or not listening?
I would say, like, if you're going in for something that is unrelated to your weight, if you have a cold or, like, an ear infection or something, and they bring up your weight, oftentimes that is not medically relevant. If you feel like your, like, pain or your symptoms are not being taken seriously, that could just be a dismissive doctor, but that also could be, like, fat bias. They would take a thin person seriously. I mean, if you just don't feel comfortable, it's hard to sometimes know, like, exactly what's going on.
You know the
But,
vibes.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you trust your energy, trust your intuition when you're in those situations, for sure.
And I will interview doctors. Like, when I'm picking a primary care, I will go in and say, like, hey, how do you approach weight? Like, how do you think about the BMI? You get to do that too. Like, you're picking your provider.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask your doctor questions.
Yeah.
They aren't know-it-alls.
Yeah.
Half the time, nurses know more than them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Going off of what you're saying, like, what would a good relationship, a doctor-patient relationship, look like for someone in a larger body?
I think ideally it's, like, driven by your needs. So if you're someone in a larger body and you show up and say, like, I'd really like to talk about potential, like, weight loss, then maybe that's a conversation you have with your doctor. But if you aren't broaching it, then maybe your doctor, like, never brings it up. That can often be a sign that, like, that's maybe someone that you can trust more. Just, like, yeah, again, interviewing people, like, asking questions. If you're picking a primary care doctor, saying, like, hey, how do you approach this topic? Yeah, and just seeing, like, how they treat you when you're coming in for concerns that have nothing to do with weight.
It sounds like you're looking for someone that's not going to enable you, but sound like they're more affirming. They're affirming in your needs, and they are helping you kind of go through those things with education and not.
I would say, unless they really do see something, like if you take a physical, they see something in your chart that, you know, and it's not a focus or something that they say needs to be done. Hey, your cholesterol is high. You know, weight loss does help with that. Exercise. And I always think to focus on not the weight, like your weight, let's focus on moving more. Let's focus on eating better.
Yeah.
Let's not make it about the weight, because I think that's where the bias lies, and that's where the shame comes from, and that's when people don't go out and seek the care that they do need, because no, I don't want to be in this situation. It makes me uncomfortable, so no, I'm not going to go to the doctor. And then when I am going to the doctor, it is serious, but then it's still being overlooked because of my weight. So it's just like, we're at such a disadvantage already. So
Yeah, and we know that anti-fat bias impacts all of those things. It impacts fat people wanting to get care, and then like not having the trust, and having like a more delayed diagnosis and having worse outcomes. And then of course that makes it look like being fat leads to worse outcomes. But all of these things are like driven by anti-fat bias. Even some of the things that we think of as being true, like we think of like fatness is associated with high blood pressure, and that may be true to some extent, but oftentimes like you go to the doctor and they're not using the right size cuff on your arm, which can artificially inflate your blood pressure. So now it seems like
that's why that motherfucker be so tight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's supposed to be tight, but like
it
shouldn't be that tight. It shouldn't be that tight.
But they should have different sizes, like, and they shouldn't be afraid to use them. And I don't know if all doctors' offices have them, but all doctors' offices should have them, and not just the standard size cuff for the standard size person.
That's what always, talking. I know we talked about My 600-Pound Life, and I know the show is inflated and supposed to be a spectacle in a way, but it always made me feel so insane that these doctors were specifically specializing in larger bodies, but didn't have a scale that fit the person that was coming in to get their weight. It's kind of like if they make the scale, it's not as if it's not available. It just, you know what I'm saying? Like it's insane.
A lot of them would have to wait until they got down to doctor
and were recommended
in order to
get weighed. And were recommended to go to like shipping yards and like in these insane places. It's kind of. Yeah, it's like that's humiliating.
And it takes us from being a human to being just an object,
a piece of meat, quite frankly.
Just something that's there and not something that's existing and something that's living.
It's not uncommon if you're a person in a fat body that needs like an MRI. They are generally not like can't accommodate roughly more than like 350 pounds. They'll like send folks to like zoos because that's where they have the like machine that can accommodate it. Yeah, which like. I could be dying. I would be like, I'm not going to this. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
you're not putting me where a giraffe.
Right.
I honestly think that would be kind of fun. I'd be like, let's
go. Let's do it. Can I pet the animals that are there?
Yeah. Like get to go behind
with me.
Yes. Let me feed the fish.
So as you're in this, I mean, I think that just sitting here with you and hearing this, I think you're where you're supposed to be. I think you're very much in alignment with your mind, your goals, and your interests, and I think that's awesome. And I love when God puts that in place and universe, whatever you believe in. I love when
we're inclusive over here.
Yeah, for sure. I have a very very interesting view on religion.
She's a shareholder, I promise.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not a Bible thumper.
She's a weird bitch.
I believe in God, not the Bible.
I can't wait for that episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
But I just love when life happens the way it's supposed to happen, and I believe that's where you are right now. And what do you think needs to change in the medical field to reduce this weight bias?
Unfortunately, it's like everything. I mean, it's like just I was afraid she was going to say that. I mean, but it's not hopeless. There's structural changes. Having scales and MRI machines that fit fat bodies. Even having like seats in waiting rooms.
My God, right.
That like you can sit in. Yeah. Having a table that you can like get on. And then there's like the attitudes that have to go along with that. I think personally a big part of it is, like there aren't very many disabled doctors. It's a huge problem, and there's not very many fat doctors.
We need y'all.
Yeah. Before you got here, actually, you were having a conversation about it. And you can repeat what you were saying earlier.
So I believe somebody commented on one of our videos.
We'll find a comment if so.
Yeah, about how they were in medical school, or they're about to finish, or they decided to go back. Because they were discouraged because they were fat, and they did not want to be a doctor and be a medical professional in a fat body because they felt like it did discredit them in some way. Yeah. We need you, just like we need LGBTQ people in medicine, and we need LGBTQ people in politics. We need fat people in politics. We need fat people in the medical field. We need Black
police officers. We need Black doctors. Like we need to see ourselves in these careers because we are each other's safety. Like people of color, Black people, we are each other's safety. And there's a lot of stuff that we have to address amongst ourselves and each other, but like in Black psychology I learned there's a reason why white supremacy was created, and it's because everybody else in the world is of color. And then you look around and you see yellow tone people, red, Black, and brown, and you kind of look around like, okay, so this is just, we need to see each other. We need to see each other in these spaces in order to feel safe in these spaces.
For sure. When like 2/3 of the country is like by BMI standards overweight and your doctors are all thin.
That is always the most insane part to me. Is like the reality is our world is not built off of the standard that we actually are being pushed for. Like the reality, most of us are never going to be a size 2 because our bodies were not made to be that way. Like the average size for a woman, if I'm not mistaken, is between a size 12 and a size 16. Like
it's even higher. I think it's like an 18 at this point.
My God.
Yeah.
Like, so it's frustrating when you realize like you're a size 18 person, I know for sure could go into a doctor and be chastised off of their weight, and they're quite literally the average size person in this country. And it's frustrating to think. I
think even somebody that would be mid-size would go into a doctor and be. If you're not going in there.
I do want to touch on this for a moment. I know this isn't in our questions, but we were having a conversation about Ozempic. And we kind of touch on Ozempic like a little bit each episode. But I remember we were talking about like the symptoms and how people will kind of sacrifice their comfortability for like being on it. And off of our conversation talking about the bias of like weight stigma, and then you look at Ozempic, it's almost, for me, it feels like it's such a marketing ploy. It's such a marketing ploy. This
Serena Williams is selling Ozempic.
Oh my gosh.
Bitch, get the fuck out of my face. The greatest fucking athlete in the world. Damn you. Come on now.
Like, but it's insane thinking about how instead of actually learning how to be inclusive in bodies, we're now just pushing a drug to like make us all look a certain way, and also creating another class of ill people that we can market and sell things to, quite frankly, without like there's purpose in the medical field, but when it's not based off of health and it's more based off of capitalism and selling drugs and things, it really, on top of the racial and weight biases and everything else that's included in it, it makes it so difficult to trust the systems that should be there to support us. It really does. But that Ozempic conversation was hilarious. Like, Kiki.
There's a lot there.
It was.
There's a lot there. It's a rich text.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on Ozempic, just while we have you here?
I mean, there's a lot of ethical concerns with GLP-1 agonists generally, from things like, supply chain concerns, which might be artificially inflated, like to sell more drugs. We don't have like hard data on that. To things like people not being able to access them and then getting like compounded versions that can be dangerous, can include things that are not for them. But even, people taking it that... I was like, are we under siege?
Who knows? I
hate to say it. Who knows?
Just to round our conversation out, what is something that you wish that doctors understood about treating patients in larger bodies?
Oh, God. I mean, like a million things. But I think at any given point, like when you're treating a patient, that patient is a whole being. And that can be really hard. And like, being a doctor is really hard, and especially in like a culture that is so driven by insurance, you don't have time to like really sit down with your patient and get to know them.
Damn, yeah.
But at least like what I say, like why I went into chaplaincy is because like no one should have to leave parts of their identity at the door when they like enter a medical system. Yeah. So, like someone might be in a fat body and they might also be, holding these 700 other identities. And I think they should all have like equal weight, if you will, but just like see the person when you can. Sometimes I think it would help if people like looked at someone and thought like, how would I treat this person if they were 120 pounds, and then do that, you'll have better outcomes.
And I think that's what we're asking for as patients. A lot of times is just to be treated as equal. I'm not asking for more care than anyone else. I just want to be looked at as a person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you'd like to, like, not plug, but anything that you'd like to leave our guests with, like a final thought?
Remember, you don't have to get weighed at the doctor. You never have to get weighed. I mean, there are okay, you know what? Hold on, let me couch that. There are some times in which your weight is legitimately important. If you're going under anesthesia, you want to get weighed. Yeah. You want to wake up in the middle of surgery. So like,
yes, you do not want that to happen.
Like for the most part, just remember, like, it's your experience. If something's not comfortable, you can say no. You can say, I'm not comfortable with that. Like, it's your body and it's your medical experience.
Yeah. So advocate for yourself, and I think our viewers will find some like solace in knowing that there are people in the system that will advocate for us as well.
Yeah.
So
and there are more like them. Seriously.
Yeah. So how would you like ask for chaplaincy or somebody in your position to come in and assist?
Like if you feel like you need some advocacy.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing is you can always bring someone with you that you trust to the doctor, to the hospital. Maybe someone that's like a little feistier who like will stick up for you. We all have those friends that like sometimes it's like you need to calm down, but like sometimes you really want them there.
Yeah.
If you're someone's like, this is good. You know,
your
you
club
can always,
friend, your church friend, and your doctor friend.
If you're ever inpatient in a hospital, you can always ask for a chaplain. You can always ask for an advocate. You can always ask for like an ombudsman. Is generally like every hospital system does it differently. You can also generally ask for ethics to be brought in if you feel like there's like some ethical concerns either for you or your family. Those are all things that like most patients don't know are things they have access to. And then most hospitals will have like an advocacy line or a complaint line if you feel like you're not being treated. Like you can do that. And sometimes like you just have to make a stink. If it feels like your life is in danger, like sometimes you just have to make a big deal of it.
That's the responsibility I think we have.
Don't be afraid to get in your Karen bag.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
Be the squeaky wheel, quite frankly, to get you oil. Like it's true. I think that if we're gonna hold the medical field responsible, I think it's our point to call these things out and be noticeable about like that's the only way they're going to actually pay attention to these things and try to make changes if we're calling attention to it in the first place. So
I also feel like it takes one person, and like when I think about it, like when I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna say something to this person, I know it's uncomfortable for me, but me saying that one thing to that one doctor may change their mind when speaking to the next fat person.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, I'll take a hit for the team. Like,
Absolutely. Advocate for yourself, and that's why I think this community and community in general is so important. So you have people to go to the doctors with. You have people that you can say, hey, who do you go to and how are you treated, or how was your experience with this doctor? Yes, I believe there is, I mean, this isn't an ad, but there's something called ZocDoc, and it does help you find a doctor that you are compatible with. And I think that's super important. And I know that we talk about that in the mental health sense. It's always important to find a therapist that you're compatible with. Absolutely. And it sucks because you do have to
shop around.
That means that you get to fire your doctor.
Be
picky. It's your life. It is your life. And build communities so these situations are easier to maneuver. It's always easier to do it with somebody and not be alone in these situations. So,
and you can always ask for a second opinion if you don't like the answer that you've gotten. You can go see someone else.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
We're so
you.
happy to have you. Seriously.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And congratulations. We're wishing you all the best in your program.
Thank you.
When will you be done, by the way?
Theoretically, in like 2 or 3 more years.
Okay, good luck to you.
Finishing coursework now.
Yes, good luck to you.
Thank you. I need it.
Yes. Well, thank you. We hope you come back.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Well, we just finished our conversation. I think that was a great conversation. I think we're going to continue having great conversations into the thick of it. And you know that this is where we kind of show that we're not talking out of our ass. We're going to bring some statistics and facts, you know, some guests. Exactly. Exactly that. So this week...
Giggity.
Is that another one of our shirts? I don't talk out of my ass, but I'll eat yours.
We don't talk out of our ass. We just eat it.
Especially if it's pink.
What is wrong with this bitch?
Wait, like, if the food is pink or the ass is pink?
You looking at that chocolate star.
Yes.
So you want to eat Patrick?
That's why I like dark skinned men. Oh, they got little pink booty holes. Okay, anyways. Oh my God.
This is the most serious part of
And I'm talking about assholes.
what I'm talking about. Think about this that. Okay. My fault.
So let's get into the thick of it.
That was a little funny break for y'all.
Yeah, this is kind of.
Y'all needed that. Yeah.
We talking some serious.
I'm always here to lighten the mood with a little ass eating.
A little bit of ass eating.
Yeah, just a little bit of ass eating.
Say it like Wayne Dawson.
With a little bit of ass eating. I will be here with a little bit of ass eating. Yes, all Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesdays, 9 to 7, ass eating.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Shout out to Wayne Dawson, bro. We love you.
All right.
What's on the forecast?
Ass eating.
Okay. Well, speaking of ass eating and
Felicia's over us.
and sexual things, I want to know. I'm going to give you. I want you to guess the percentage of the number of physicians that exhibit implicit weight bias, often associating larger patients with laziness or noncompliance. What is the percentage?
I'm going to say like 90%. All of them.
She thinks all of you are horrible.
Yes.
If I just transitioned us from sex into stats, what percentage of physicians exhibit implicit weight bias?
Oh, 69?
Which is one of our favorite numbers.
Wait, I know we have limited time, but just 2 seconds. Y'all know on the Patreon where I was talking about the short man that I was going to have. There was one time we was having sex and we was 69 and this nigga loved for me to ride his face. And you know I'm a big bitch. Bruh, I was high as fuck and I was holding on to his knees. I almost broke this nigga knees, bruh. Listen. Y'all,
it was gonna look like that motherfucking bitches with a outflanted on her feet.
Listen, I'm riding this nigga face. Wait, I'm riding this nigga face, bro. This nigga doing what? I'm tapping. Get up. He like, nigga, my knees, bro. My knees. He's like, you pushing down on my knees.
Were you pushing down like this?
Bro, I'm saying I was giving this nigga the head and I'm holding on to his knees for leverage. So I'm putting all my weight on this nigga knees. On this 5'7" man. I'm putting all my weight on his 2 kneecaps. That nigga almost snapped in half.
He was about to curl up. Like
he was gonna be walking like this for the rest of his life. Nigga's legs was gonna be built like a seat, like a boomerang.
He was about to get this nigga, take this nigga bow leg.
Bro. Oh my god, that shit was funny as fuck.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, yes.
Ride that nigga face though.
Yes, big girls, ride that nigga's face.
Ride that nigga face. It's fun.
Until his knees
Just
cave in.
Hold on to the thigh meat though. Hold on to the thigh meat though. Yo.
All men must die, bitch. But yeah, studies do show that 69% of physicians exhibit implicit. I felt like I was rapping. Implicit weight bias, often associated larger patients with laziness or noncompliance. Hey, that rhymed. And that is from the Journal of Obesity.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a new banger.
Patients in larger bodies are more likely to delay or avoid medical care due to fear of stigma and mistreatment from healthcare providers. Something we discussed, and that is from the National Institutes of Health. Weight bias in healthcare has been linked to delayed diagnosis and missed conditions because symptoms are often attributed to weight instead of being investigated properly. As you heard in our interview with Madeline, that she knows of somebody that had cancer and their symptoms were ignored, and they so they ended up succumbing to that disease. And I think that was like,
it's so hard to hear.
I made this outline, and hearing her say that still was like a whoa.
It's because it's like,
you are gambling with people's lives with your
But I
bias.
could assume that without being told that, but to have the confirmation of it just changes the whole vibe.
Especially from somebody that sees it
and
actually gives a fuck about it and doesn't want to see shit like that happen. It brings that to a reality that I already had to face, but it makes it so much more tangible, and that's so sad.
Yes.
Because as a fat person, that means that I'm susceptible to dying because of lack of care more than it is from me being fat, quite frankly. Like, you don't even give a fuck about what I actually have going on because I'm fat. So it's so hard to hear that.
Yeah, that was a hard pill to swallow. And this is the National Institute of Health and their obesity reviews. Another statistic shows that doctors spend less times with patients in larger bodies and engage in less patient-centered communication compared to thinner patients. And this is the same source, the obesity review. For me, I think that is the humanity issue. Mm-hmm. I think outside of bias, I think obviously coming in, we all have weight bias because we live in this capitalistic, fatphobic society. So before, these doctors are still consuming media. They're still meeting people in their day-to-day life. They have their own, I'm sure, feeding generational issues and such. I think that this actually needs to happen more. They need to focus on being patient-centered to create that safe space so we can really get some shit done and we can investigate properly. Mm-hmm. But again, going back to, I think that's why they just dismiss this fat person. It's just that I'm going to focus on the skinny person. I mean, I said that this just kind of, that is what they do. And I think the weight of this is really just how dangerous that is.
Seriously,
it really is just it's not funny. This isn't a hee hee ha ha fat bitches knee lift. This shit is real and this shit is dangerous.
And this shit is embedded in society.
This shit is embedded in our systems, and that's why fatphobia. There is no, you cannot. I don't think it can be compared to another ism, to another phobia.
And I think this section is so much like we said, we don't want to be talking out of our ass. And I think this entire podcast, this episode primarily really is we're not talking out of our ass. Fatphobia is terrifying. Yeah. And it's something that is built to suppress us, and it puts us in the position to be killed by the very system we live within just off of how we look. And that's terrifying. It's unnecessary.
Just with you saying that, I've heard that what police officers are to black men, nurses and doctors are to black women.
Mm-hmm. Especially fat. Yeah.
The system kills us.
Yeah.
And our last stat here before we move on to bigger and better things. No, this is very important. That was stupid to say. The American Medical Association has acknowledged that BMI is a flawed measurement and should not be used as the sole indicator of health. I'm going to read that again. The American Medical Association has acknowledged that the BMI, the body mass index scale, is a flawed measurement and should not be used as the sole indicator of health, yet it still is, and I don't see active dismantling of that. I'm not hearing of it. If you guys have seen, heard, know doctors that are doing that, know medical providers or people that are in the medical schools teaching, if you know of them pushing that the BMI is flawed, let us know in the comments. Let us know how you guys feel about the BMI and how that has affected you in your lives, because I know that we're not the only ones with stories to share. We would love to hear those. Those would be great weigh-ins and something that we could always come back to. But yeah, it is a flawed measurement and should not be used as a sole indicator of health.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys didn't watch our drunk history episode, please go do that. It was
it's also hilarious.
It was an absolutely hilarious episode, but you did learn things.
Yeah. And we talked about the BMI.
And we talked about the BMI scale, so you can learn its roots, who did it, and why they did. And from that episode, you should know that it's not. It shouldn't be used as a sole indicator. It was not based on something
that was ever created to actually support us, especially black women, especially fat people in general, but especially fat black people. So it's
Yeah, and again, that was from the American Medical Association.
Yeah.
We got away, we got away, and we about to do the way. And hey, so if you need some dating advice, if your mama ain't nice.
Oh.
I'm rapping.
Get this bitch in a stew.
I'm rapping today.
Yeah.
No, but if you have any
that's the real Big Mama. Big Mama.
They call me Big Mama. Like I'm a fat bitch. But yeah, if you got a backhanded compliment and you want to debrief us on, and we'll diss that bitch back. We'll come fire. Okay.
Fuck nigga.
If you have any questions about confidence or where we get our clothes from, you got any questions about us personally, anything you want to add, you want to vent, talk about, you need some dating advice. I think I already said that one. You have a wild ass sex story you want to tell us and join in on the funsies. Please give us your weigh-in and drop your weigh-ins at undertheweightofitallpod@gmail.com. There's a lot of different tags now. Yeah. My brain is,
follow the fucking link tree, my nigga.
My brain be stuttering. Okay.
Felicia. So sorry. Continue, bitch. Just continue.
Well, this is where space is safe, obviously. And where community is made. And today we have an actual weigh-in.
Motherfuckers want to put your weight on us, huh?
All right. So, weigh-in, falling for my homeboy.
I want to leave.
Dear Felisha and Karrington, I hope all is well. I've realized that I've developed feelings for my homeboy, and I'm not quite sure how to handle it or what my next move should be. I low-key have been liking him for some time now. I can generally sniff the fear on him that lets me know that he would never date a girl like me because I'm plus size and he's scared of his homeboys clowning him. Like, nigga, man up and just be real with me. I look forward to his call every day because he's literally the only person I care to talk about my day. I think he likes leading me on and flirting with me. I just feel like at the same time, he doesn't feel the same. I would love to hear your thoughts or any advice you might have on how to navigate this. Best regards, Houston Hottie.
Okay, Houston Hottie.
Hi, we love the Houston Hottie. I literally was thinking about today how much I love everybody. Every woman from Houston is amazing. I love
Houston bitches are bad as fuck.
Shout out to Lex P and Dre and Nicole of Poor Minds. We love y'all. We love y'all so much. We can't wait to be famous enough to come key, okay? Because I love me some Lex
and the karaoke, yes.
Ken the Man, Megan, we love Madeline on this
Lizzo ass
podcast. Like, I think the Houston.
Yes.
Yes. Of course, Beyonce.
Yes, and the rest of Destiny's Child.
Yes. But yeah, we just love the Houston Hottie. So shout out to Houston.
Yeah.
Shout out to Houston. Yeah. So, what you think?
There's two versions of this. I think on one hand, like, don't count yourself out so much. I feel like there's a lot of the things that she's saying in this that's like, you kind of, now I'm not around this man, so you know him more than I do, but it does sound like in that conversation that you're kind of making assumptions off of what's going on. He might really fuck with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, now, homeboy or not, that's your friend, right? So, like, he care about you to a base level, right? And it sounds like you're almost counting him out a little bit in the ways that she was talking about it, like making assumptions that he's not being serious or whatever maybe. Now, I'm not saying that he isn't doing those things, but as an avoidant attachment person, I oftentimes will tell myself those same things when someone's being dead ass serious with me, so I don't have to actually acknowledge the real shit.
She can genuinely sniff the fear on him that lets me know he would never date a girl like me because I'm plus size and he's scared of his homeboys clowning him. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say.
See, I don't know.
If there's any man that is afraid to be your man because you're plus size, that's not the man for you.
And also, like, is that nigga really your friend then at that point too? Like, it really, okay, so you're not wrong though. At that point too, it makes
go
me
ahead,
feel
because I know
like,
you're about to go ahead.
It makes me feel like you're just a placeholder for this nigga to have fun, Kiki. Like, it really does feel like this nigga is holding you hostage so he can have his cake and eat it too. He'll never do anything with your ass, but he'll kiki with your ass because he likes the energy that you give him. And honestly, if his boys really influence the fuck out of him in that way, fuck that nigga, he lame as fuck anyways. Like,
you said in this email, I think he likes leading me on and flirting with me.
He probably do.
He probably does.
Probably do.
That woman's intuition, I want you to not question that. If you think that, if you really believe that, you're right.
And niggas are like insecure men. Insecure people in general feed off of that false sense of support that, somebody else might give them. So if your big ass out here telling him he the best, he's this, he's that, giving him life advice, and he doesn't get that from anybody else, he might be using you as a placeholder and giving you just enough of what you need to keep coming around and dealing with him. So
yeah, like what? So you say that you look forward to his calls and that's the only person that you want to tell about your day. Are y'all going
You're
and
in a
doing
relationship
stuff?
with that nigga in your head, and he don't even think about you like that. It's what it sounds like a little
what
bit.
What else is he giving you? Is he?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that he's not breadcrumbing you, because a lot
That's
of men
what it sounds like,
will
literally.
breadcrumb you just to keep you around, just to keep them entertained.
Yeah.
So I want to know, is he genuinely interested in your day when you call?
Yeah.
Does he ask about your day, or do you talk to him about your day?
Yeah.
You know what
that's
I
what
mean?
I'm saying. That's what I mean in terms of like, this nigga will have your ass in a relationship where you think you dating this nigga, but he's not, just to keep you around.
Yeah.
Just to keep you around. So yeah, be mindful of how those conversations are going. Is this nigga asking about you? Do he give a fuck?
I think as far as navigating the situation, I think you need to start taking notes and just pay attention to the details. So what do your conversations consist of? And when he talks, does he talk about himself or does he talk about y'all? Yeah. You know what I mean? I think you need to take note of his behavior, take inventory of what the relationship is. Do that for a week or two, but and don't know
who's calling who, by the way.
She said that he calls.
Okay, don't answer just one time. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't answer 1 or 2 times to see if that nigga call you. What's going on? You okay? You feel me? Like, you need anything? I feel like if I have male friends. Like, literally last night, I have male friends, and I feel like if this nigga reached out to me and I didn't answer for a few weeks, it would be like, hey, you okay? What's up? And also, when I'm talking to my male friends, they give a fuck about what I got going on. Yeah. Even if it's not like on the weird shit. Like, them niggas have no problem taking me around their friends, introducing me to their people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I think you would know if your male friends are afraid to like be around you, because I've definitely had that too, and not even just in male friends in general that have been like, we don't invite her to certain things because of how she looks or whatever the fuck it may be. So if you to be honest, to send that in the first place means you already you know what you're dealing with a little bit to even like point it out. And I feel like, believe that discernment. Yes, follow that discernment, follow that vibe, because you if it smells fishy, it's probably fucking fishy. Yeah. So, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But male friends are weird and they're tricky as fuck. I get that. For sure. Especially as a single girly and like as a plus size girly, you're not used to men giving a fuck about you or treating you like normally. You're either sexualized or othered by them. Yeah. So to have one that treats you so normally when you're not used to that, like if you didn't have that, it confuses you. If you watch the podcast,
you see me a couple months ago kind of dealing with almost the same situation type. So just protect yourself. Yeah. Protect yourself above all. Try to not to do that in a avoidant way. Yeah, address that shit. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Because if not, it gets sticky. It gets sticky.
Like I said, do your inventory. Do your inventory. Talk to yourself. Do some reflecting. Make a pros and cons list. You know, like really think this shit out. Do this shit methodically. And is he even worth your time as a person? Like, navigate carefully. Yeah. And navigate with yourself first in mind. Yeah. So, and thank you for your weigh-in. And update us. Let us know. Good luck with that. Let us know if you had a conversation. Let us know what conclusions you came up to when you did do your inventory. If you listened to any of this fucking advice at all, because what the fuck is we talking about? Yeah. But yeah, thank you. And again, if you guys have any weigh-ins, please, if you talk about anything under the motherfucking sun, I do not give a fuck. Yeah. Send them into undertheweightofitallpod@gmail.com.
Also, we did get some of our DMs, so which will. Obviously,
more. So if you do want to send them in our DMs,
that's
feel
totally
free.
Fine.
Yeah. So if you don't want to feel like typing in undertheweightofitall@gmail.com, go to undertheweightofitallpod on IG and DM us and just say weigh in. Like,
we get them immediately through our email, so that's definitely always a better route.
And we have a folder for it. Yes. It's more easier to organize than Gmail, but you know.
But if that's not the option, if you think of something immediately and you want to write it down,
absolutely,
that's a route as well.
We want them. Them. We're incorporating this into our Patreon, so bring them.
Pull up on this.
Yeah.
But all right, y'all, let's get into the food for thought. So I'm going to close out this episode with, just something to let y'all chew on. In terms of medical bias, I want us to remember that although we are in fat bodies, we are still able to advocate for ourselves, and we do get the final say in terms of care, whether that is choosing a medical professional that actually is aligned with you, whether that is, not being afraid to advocate for yourself or having to even just have the reminder that you can advocate for yourself. We're in control. It's our body. And also these systems were created to confuse, divide, not really support us in the first place. So keeping that in mind in the forefront and knowing how to navigate that, I think, is really something that is important to not just fat body people, but all people, especially people of color, navigating the healthcare system. So don't be afraid to ask for help. ask for people like our guest to, you know, support you in moments of distress. Ask your family, ask your friends. Be realistic with yourself.
Yeah.
Don't succumb to the crazy shit either, but like be soft with yourself and, you know, try to give grace to yourself in these moments and understanding that it might be frustrating to get the help that you need, but don't give up on it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We hope you guys can find community that can help you do those things. And we hope that we're building community here that can aid in those things.
And I hope that like the more, because these are topics that we'll go back onto, and it would be so amazing. I mean, I have such big aspirations for us, but like it would be great if, you know, we do find a doctor that we're able to have on the podcast that's able to give us resources that we're able to provide to you all in order to find, which I know that they mentioned a source beforehand, but to find even more resources for fat people to use to find the actual care that we need to take care of ourselves. So in building this community, that's something that a collective job for all of us. So if you guys have suggestions, if you guys have a medical professional or, you know, an app or a website that you've used to help you connect with somebody that you think really was worthy of, you know, helping you in the first place, my words are crazy today, please drop that in the comments, email us, whatever it may be. We would love to provide that resource.
And even say, because we talked about access, and I think that's a very real thing, so I'm going to freely say, if you have a GoFundMe, if you have anything that we can share, we can help crowdfund for any sort of medical treatment or surgery, anything that this is a community that we're building, please do not hesitate to email us and ask if we can drop a link in our description. Yeah. Like if we have the money to give, we will get, like if there is a certain thing that you need us to try to find and somebody to allocate, we got you. So do not hesitate to do that, please. Yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning into Under the Weight of It All podcast. Please be sure to follow, rate, subscribe, leave a review, comment, click the button, subscribe, notification bell, hype the video. I don't know what
do all that motherfucking shit, y'all.
Going on, but yeah,
touch all the buttons, push the button.
Yeah. If you're listening to us on Apple, Spotify, again, follow, rate, leave a review, all that good stuff. Yeah, send your weigh-ins. Again, I'm gonna keep repeating it because we want them. Send them to underweightofitallpod@gmail.com. Send them through the DM at underweightofitallpod on IG. That's also where you can follow us. TikTok. If you want to follow us on TikTok, we are UTWOIA Pod. If you want to follow us on Patreon, we are patreon.com/UTWOAI Pod.
Support these fat bitches over here. We need it.
Yeah. Carrington, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Carrington Allure, and that's on TikTok and on Instagram.
And you can find me on IG at I am Felisha Alexis. Please enjoy this 5-minute clip of our Patreon episode. I don't know if it's going to be the first one and the second one. Got to see what we're feeling, but please go join the after party. This is where we'll be dropping any sort of bonus content, the interviews that we described today, the vlogs from yesterday,
the pictures from over the weekend.
What we're going to next week, the Frequency and Boone. If y'all want to keep up with us, we're going to have some really dope concepts coming up, some really cool episodes. So please make sure you follow us, and then we're going to be giving you updates and all that shit. So make sure you tell your fat friends, your short friends, your disabled friends, your gay friends, your trans friends, your non-binary peeps. We love you all. Come join us. Build this community with us.
Join us.
Bitch is scary. Yeah, come sign the Death Row Records.
Yeah,
no,
bitch.
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
But just make sure whoever you tell to watch us, you also tell that this is not no body positive bullshit. This is some real shit.
Join us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so just make sure you tell whoever you do, let them just make sure whoever you do tell about us, you let them know that this ain't no body positive bullshit. Yeah. This is some real shit. This is where real talk happens, and yeah. Thank you for watching.
We fucking love you. Air hugs.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Ooh,
come
shit,
here. Give me a hug. I love y'all. Let me kiss y'all in the ear. I love y'all. You felt that. I know you did.
See y'all in 2 weeks.
Love y'all. Bye.